Alrighty. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the stream. I apologize for the kind of botched start. As it turns out, when I cleared out my hard drive in preparation for my Canada trip, I deleted the countdown and I couldn't find it. So I had to improvise last second. I apologize for that. But we're here, we're starting. Welcome, everyone. I want to thank you all for starters for 20,000 subscribers. I did not think it would happen this quickly at all. I actually looked about a year ago from when I hit 20K, which was just a few days ago. I wasn't even at 9,000 subscribers. So the growth in the past year has been absolutely unbelievable. And that comes from all of you guys. I want to thank you all so much for allowing me to continue doing this. It really has been a fun ride, and I don't plan on slowing down anytime soon, even with college coming up very quickly. I plan on continuing to ramp up the content. So stay tuned for a ton of stuff from Canada, plus a surprise little bonus day trip coming up this week that you guys will find out about very soon. All that content will be rolled out as time goes on. Then we have Fright Fest coming up and all the fun stuff that comes with that. But that's enough of my yammering. I want to thank you all again. They'll let everyone who's in the stream right now introduce themselves, starting with Brian. So, Brian, go for it.
What's up? Brian, Costa Patrick guy. Again, congratulations, Colin, to the subscribers.
Thank you. Bob?
Bob from BK Photo Page, all the socials. Yeah, congrats, Colin. I don't know how you did it, considering you're such a little prick, but, good job.
Thank you, Bob. And Ace?
It's Ace from Ace Car from Facebook. And congratulations, Colin. I anticipated that you would do this so fast, expeditiously. So it's not a surprise.
Well, thank you, Ace. And we will have Ken joining us a little later on. I actually have to send him the link right now, but he will be joining us too. So we have some exciting stuff to discuss other than the fact that 20K happened. First and foremost, I want to talk about the new set of Six Flags passes because I know we all have very interesting opinions on what they entail. So let me add this on right now. I want to start with Brian. Brian, what do you think about the new slate of Six Flags passes, the all park passport, the whole 9 yards? What do you think of it?
Well, it's a great way to get you into the other parks. It would be nice if you could have another add-on to do the meal plans and the drink plans. But I think it's a good start. It feels like it's dirt cheap, though. I don't know how they're really going to make money for big additions because one pass gets you into all those parks. That's huge. Just think of the road trips. Think of the trips you can go on in all the parks you'll be able to hit. So I think it's a positive thing. And hey, I already just renewed. I got my Donny Park one, so I'm set with the passport. I'm ready for next year.
Bob, what do you think about it?
Well, you and I had this conversation briefly about. I just think this is going to be a 1-year thing as a tryout, and they're going to see, how many people that actually buy the all park passport, how many parks they go to, and things like that, and then see from there how they can modify the system to. I feel like it's, they're still working on the infrastructure of the company, and this was like the last thing on their minds of, hey, let's overhaul this right away. Let's take care of, I imagine the focus is let's take care of everything else and then worry about that after the fact and see how that works out. And they already have this in place, so it's a lot easier for them to just extend it to everything else.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I could see them kind of doing this to see how many people are actually going to bite and go for the all park passport because Cedar Fair has never had this large of a suite of parks. It's always been a lot smaller than this. And I think they want to see how many people are really going to use the full amount of that all park passport and go all the way with it. I think this is, again, just a really big test for them. And I do agree with both of you guys that I wish the dining plans and drink plans would carry over between both chains. I said this in one of my previous videos. I wish there was an option to say you did what Brian did and bought the gold pass from Dorney with the all park passport, drinks, dining, the whole 9 yards. I wish there was also a way that you could buy the dining pass and drink pass from, say, Great Adventure and get the all park on that. And then that works at all the Six Flags parks, plus what you already have at all the Cedar Fair parks. Because I think that would probably be the best combo you could get. Because what I'm planning on doing right now, we're still kind of figuring out exactly how we want to do it. But my plan is to keep my Diamond Elite membership the way I have it from Six Flags. I'm hoping that you don't need to purchase the all park passport in order to get access to all Six Flags parks because Diamond Elite, Diamond, all the legacy memberships, they had access to all the Six Flags parks from the get-go, and I don't think they should change that. So if they make it so that you can continue to go to all Six Flags parks without getting the passport, then we're probably going to get either a gold or prestige pass from one of the Cedar Fair parks, fully load that, with the All Park Passport. That way we have both dining and drinks at both chains, which I wish there was a way that you could just purchase that on one pass, because then I would just keep my Diamond Elite and be fine. But that's probably what I'm going to do right now until more information comes out. But Ace, I'm really curious what you think, because I know you've been a pass holder to both chains for a very long time. What do you think that you can finally just have one pass?
I think it's great. It's a great idea. You get to save a whole lot of money, of course, first and foremost, because we all go on a lot of trips. Hey, Ken. And
What's up, Ken?
Hello.
the only thing that's a killer is that they don't have the drinks and the meals with the legacy Cedar Fair parks. So, however, I anticipate them by the end of the year giving us the option to being able to add those meals to our legacy passes, which I'm very, very elated about. Because I figured that they would keep us on our legacy passes, of course, to 2100, which is great. So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be some more modifications. This is probably more like a rough draft of what we're going to get. So let's just look forward to the end of 2024. Then we have an idea of what 2025's passes will all be for the new Six Flags chain.
So Ace, I'm curious for you specifically, what do you plan on doing in terms of purchasing passes for next year? Because I know you love the drink plan and dining plan for both chains. How are you going to go
If everything holds with our legacy passes and what you have to get the passport to add the legacy Cedar Fair parks, I'm going to do the same thing you're doing, because I have to, because I go to a lot of old legacy Cedar Fair parks. So I'm going to have no choice. Like I had this conversation with Ken earlier, because I go everywhere from California to pretty much Charlotte. I go all over. So it's very important for me, because they do have great food, Cedar Fair's, the legacy Cedar Fair chain.
Definitely. And also for anyone looking to get passes right now, I would recommend, if you're going to buy a Cedar Fair one, consider buying it from Canada's Wonderland. And the reason for that is that the American dollar is stronger than the Canadian dollar, which I learned very clearly while I was on my Canada trip. So you can get a pass from Canada's Wonderland and it won't actually cost as much as one from Dorney, and you still get all the same stuff. As far as I know, you don't need to redeem it at the park you purchased it at. As far as I know, I could be wrong. But if that is the
like
case,
that, I hope they keep it that way.
Yeah, because it's much cheaper to buy it from Canada. So Ken, welcome for starters. What do you think about the new set of Six Flags passes with the All Park Passport and the Legacy member stuff?
Oh, I'm happy about it. I'm keeping my Gold Plus and just going to add on. I don't have to buy my Cedar Point pass. I'll just add on the $99 upgrade and be able to go to Cedar Point or Kings Island, Kings Dominion, saving me some money.
So when you go to the parks, meaning the Six Flags parks, you don't have, or do you have a dining pass? I don't remember.
No, I don't. I don't eat their food.
So then the add-on thing probably doesn't affect you at all. So this works out really, really well.
I have a feeling they're going to work that out. They're going to work that out.
I think the biggest issue right now,
buy another pass just to get the food. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think the biggest issue right now is that they just don't have them all integrated, because the Cedar Fair system and the Six Flags system are very different. I mean, even the passes are completely different types of barcodes. Six Flags is like your standard kind of horizontal barcode, and then Cedar Fair, it's QR codes for your pass. So I think that's one hurdle they'll have to get through. And then on top of that, of course, the way the dining works at Cedar Fair and the drinks work at Cedar Fair is completely different than Six Flags. I hope that starting next year, maybe we can see the paper cup plan make its way to the Six Flags parks. That is probably one of the best things about the Cedar Fair parks, and specifically Canada's Wonderland. They have freestyle machines everywhere. They have all these drink refill locations. You just walk up, scan your thing, get your paper cup, and they have tons of freestyles. And you're not waiting in long lines to get your drink. You don't have to put your cup over the counter, anything like that. And I hope that's something we see going forward. But overall, I am really intrigued by the Six Flags Pass situation. And I'm also really intrigued by the fact that they are selling the same Gold and Prestige across both chains, but it's so much cheaper to buy it from the Six Flags chain. I believe the Gold Pass is around $65 at the Six Flags chain, Legacy, of course. Meanwhile, you can get it from Cedar Fair for like $99. So I don't know why there's that big of a price discrepancy if they're all a part of the same chain anyway. It could just be because of the way they value the add-ons like Flash Pass or dining, drinks, stuff like that. Because Flash Pass, Fastlane, all-season stuff, that does not carry between both chains yet. But that'll probably happen maybe mid-25, early 26, something like that. But it's definitely going to be really interesting to unfold. And again, we don't have all the questions answered right now. It's very early on. Six Flags technically hasn't even started selling them on their legacy parks. So we're going to have to wait and see how that all works out. I imagine certain parks will be more expensive than
And Great
others.
Adventure may be the same price.
Oh yeah,
That's true.
Yeah.
Great
I'm
Adventure
excited.
could be 99 and 165 or whatever it is for Prestige, honestly.
I'm really excited about. I can't wait to see what Macho Nacho is going to be next year. I'm hoping that's going to be like Enrique's or any other Cedar Fair Mexican place. That's going to be great to see what the food option is going to be for next year. You know, as
I don't know if
opposed
there's
to
going to be
right now.
that much change like come the start of next year. I think we're going to have to wait till like the summer season to really start seeing the
Okay.
implementation take place.
Oh,
Because I don't know if you guys watched Jeffrey Siebert's presentation from FT92. It was a really well done presentation. I mean, he knows how to do stuff like that very well, and this one was really good. He was talking about the fact that they're hiring an executive chef down in San Antonio at Fiesta, Texas, and that's kind of the start of adopting the Cedar Fair strategy of having really good food, making that a focus. Because after all, if you're going to spend or make people spend $18 on a burger and fries, you better make
Yeah.
sure that burger and fries are damn good. And I think Cedar Fair does that very well. Six Flags kind of hit or miss across the board, and
Mhm.
I think Cedar Fair's team, that is of course now running the new Six Flags chain, is probably going to want to make that a priority to make sure that the food is really good across the board. But with all that being said, anyone have anything to add on about the Six Flags passes before I move on to the next sort of section here?
I'm really shocked they kept the memberships. You guys still have it. I thought they were going to get rid of it.
I
Yeah.
thought
It
so
just
too.
seems-
Honestly,
Me too.
I really did.
I thought they were.
Yeah.
I thought they were going away.
Now,
Yeah,
my
so I think
question.
this might be another test year, like Bob was saying. They're going to see what happens, run the numbers, do the statistics at the end of this year, and be like, you know what? We're losing money here, or people aren't buying this or that, or, you know what? Hey, we're going to throw in this other option to add on to the pass to then get the other opposite brand, opposite legacy parks that your home park is,
Yeah.
to add on the food and, drink plans.
Yeah. I'm wondering what they're going to do with the parking, like the preferred parking. That's my biggest question.
Well, I'm going to assume that if you buy a Prestige pass from whether it's Legacy Cedar Fair or
Mhm.
Legacy Six Flags, you get preferred when you get Prestige. So I'm going to assume that will carry over to all the parks. But then that also makes me wonder, and I'm guessing this is probably the direction you were going in. Since we're Diamond Elite VIP, does that mean that if we do buy the all-park passport for our Legacy membership, does that mean we'll get preferred parking at the Cedar Fair parks? Because, again, they haven't made that too clear yet. So I'm really curious how many of the benefits will actually carry over, because they say admission and parking are the only things that are valid across both chains.
Mhm.
So does that mean your parking benefits as well?
Yeah.
And then, of course, the fact that the Prestige benefits of a pass holder, will that carry from both Six Flags to Cedar Fair's chains as well? Or will it just be your home chains? I think there's a lot of unanswered questions right now. We're going to have to wait for when they actually go on sale to find out.
Yeah.
You'll find out opening day next year.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that'll take
It's a
care.
horrible name for a pass.
That'll take care. That, Ken,
What's that?
what you were saying?
I said it's a horrible name for a pass. Prestige.
Yeah.
Or as the people at San Antonio called it, Pertige. They misspelled it accidentally in the one
I actually
slide.
like that better.
Oh boy. Yeah. Hopefully this.
But, I mean, I do
convolution-
think it's nice that they're kind of going back to the two-pass system, because Cedar Fair had employed that for a very long time, and I thought that was like the perfect way to do it. I still think that Prestige should just include the all-park passport. It shouldn't be an extra add-on, because it kind of gets confusing for people, the general public. But the way they have it set up when you go to purchase, and Brian, you could probably attest because you just purchased one,
I
it seems
literally
very seamless because there's a
bought it
whole
yesterday.
tab dedicated to it.
Yeah.
So
Literally
I
just-
think, you just click it, right?
You would just, because it's either gold or but Donny Park, I think it was only silver or gold. They didn't have Prestige at Donny.
No.
Right.
So I
Yeah,
just did gold, and then you hit your add-ons, boom, done.
So yeah,
I
hopefully
assume
by
it'd be the same way. You just hit prestige, and then when you go to the next one, it'll be like, do you want passport? Yes or no? And then it goes down. You can add the food, drink, fast lane, all that other stuff.
hopefully this
Right.
convolution is cleared up by 25. Wow. So much.
Convolution. Wow. A big word. Anyways, though, with all of that being said, we're going to move on to the next section, and everyone will be able to have a comment on this, because as far as I know, all of us have been to at least one of these parks, and that is the Northern New York and Canadian parks. So For those of you who've been following the channel, I recently did my first trip to the northern New York and some of the Canada parks. I didn't do Laurent, but I did Canada's Wonderland, did Six Flags Darien Lake, Seabreeze, Six Flags Great Escape, as well as the Frankenstein coaster, also known as the Burger King coaster at Niagara Falls. And that was also my first time at Niagara Falls. My first time in Canada ever, which still blows my mind that it took that long for me to get there. But I really enjoyed my trip. And as you guys will see when the Wonderland blog comes out, Wonderland might be one of my new favorite parks, not just in the Six Flags chain. It probably is my favorite in the Six Flags chain, but it is one of my all-time favorites. I think the way that park is run should be an example for all the Six Flags parks to follow by, between the operations, the way the park is laid out, the appearance of the park. Pretty much everything about it is just phenomenal. I really think that if all the Six Flags parks followed that, they would all be really successful. But I want to hear what you guys think of the Northern New York and Canadian parks that you've been to. I'll start with Bob, because I know, Bob, you've been to most of them, right?
I haven't been to Great Escape, but I've been to all the other ones. Yeah, I'm not as high on Canada's Wonderland as you, and part of that is because every time I go, even during the middle of the week, it's so damn packed that it's insane, and it hasn't been nearly run as good as it was when you guys were there. I like the park. There's a million flat rides, and it's very top heavy. But the goods are, the food's really good. They have lots of variety. The people there obviously are really nice. It's pretty well themed considering it's, being a Cedar Fair park. Darien Lake is the park on the planet that pisses me off more than any other, because it has so much potential and they don't do anything with that potential, between the campground and the lakes and the music venue and everything else they could possibly do, and they do nothing with it, and it just makes me insane. Niagara Park is so, you thought with Gene Staples taking it over that it'd be like built back up some, but they haven't really done anything with it.
I had to skip it because they had nothing open and they closed for the rain anyway. But I had to skip it.
Nice. I did not do the one, that Niagara Falls coaster. I always forget it's there. I have been to Marineland. I do have those credits. I know they're not open right now, but Dragon Mountain's a very weird coaster. And then I rode the Ladybug or whatever the heck the kiddie coaster is there. Is that all of them?
Have you been to Seabreeze?
I have. I've been to Seabreeze twice. The first time it was wonderful. The last time I was there, it was like the busiest day the park has had in 30 years or something. And that was the day we had an event there that it was an ACE co-branded event with our club that they didn't announce. I mean, that they announced, but they didn't put out the registration until a week before. So there was only like 15 people there total. And that was the day that I see Lucan in the comments. That was the day. So what happened was,
I think he told me about this one.
Yeah. So Lucan I was going to do senior pictures inside, and he came to the back entrance and they wouldn't let him in because apparently they have an 18 and under thing, chaperone policy on the weekend. So I walked to the back entrance and I waved to the guy and I said, "Hey, he's with me." They're like, "No, you have to come out and walk in with him." So I walked out to walk in with them. And then they stopped me in security and wouldn't let me take my camera in that I was in the park with already for 6 hours. And I had to stand out there for like 30 minutes until they got like the biggest higher up to come up and okay it. It was ridiculous. It's a nice little park. I mean, it's fine. Jackrabbit's ridiculously smooth for being 105 years old or whatever it is now. It's whatever. It's yeah.
And I got to jump in because I see what Lucan's commenting. Me and Bob got held up by a WWE wrestler. The security guards they have at that park are probably the most jacked set of security guards I've ever seen in the park.
They are ripped.
Like, you do not want to mess with the security at Seabreeze at all.
Yeah.
And we were walking around with camera equipment the whole day, and there was one guy just trailing us the whole time. And I was in contact with the park's PR team and everything, and he was just like eyeballing us the whole time. I was like, "Ooh,
the dude that stopped
I really
us
hope I don't do something wrong."
The guy that stopped us was Bobby Lashley. It was ridiculous.
So, Brian, I know you've been to Laurent. I don't know where else you've been. So, what are your experiences with
just Great Escape and Laurent have been the only. When I went, Great Escape was awesome. Alpine bobsled was still there, so I got like two rides on that. It's a nice little park. What's the one of the wooden coaster? Comet,
yeah.
Yeah, that was surprisingly smooth for what I thought it was going to be. No, I think it's a nice little park. Even though it was a Desperados, the log flume, that was fun.
Yeah,
it's really good. It's definitely worth the trip up there. I'm sure now with Bobcat there, that's got to be a great addition to it. So,
I would imagine so. I'll have to find out eventually. Ace, I know you recently were back up there, right?
Absolutely.
So what are
This
your
time,
thoughts on the parks up there?
phenomenal. Compared to last year, I am so freaking happy that they rescinded the kid rule that you have to have the kid to ride the kiddie coasters. So I got all my credits up there, and I got the Great Leviathan. I wrote all the great top three a million times because I went to early ride time 9 days ago on the Friday, and I did 6 behemoths, 4 Leviathans, and 3 Yukon tractors. I was very pleased, and of course I did the the rough Wild Beast, your favorite coaster.
I love that ride. I love that ride.
It was rough, and I love that park. And, I have to say, you brought up one great point about that being your favorite Six Flags park. Listen, you also got to say it reminds me of Six Flags Fiesta Texas, the way it's run
Yes.
phenomenally.
Yes.
Those 2 parks right there are just phenomenal when it comes to operations. I have to say, Canada's Wonderland pretty much is the new Six Flags Fiesta Texas, which is beautiful. And as for Seabreeze, you're gonna laugh at this one. I didn't have no problems with the what do you call it, the diesel security guards, because my issue with my knee, my ADA issue. I got Brandon in there for free. I couldn't believe it. I almost, how I am. I'm very frugal. I said, what? Brandon can come with me? I said, Brandon, come on. They said you can have a guest to escort you around with the ADA. They're very, very.
That's very accommodating. I'll give them credit.
They're
That's nice.
very accommodating. I was flabbergasted. I couldn't believe it. And I love that park. It's like a nice family park. The kids were enjoying themselves. I like that old wooden coaster. Unfortunately, I couldn't get on the kiddie coaster, but I got on everything else. They got a beautiful park, especially that spinning coaster too. And I even got on a flat ride, the one that goes upside down, the one that goes in the air. I forgot. It's that flat
It's
ride.
very vague.
Which flat ride? The big one that goes up in the air. Oh,
I couldn't tell you. I didn't ride any of the flats other than the carousel and the live.
Yeah, it's a beautiful park. And then, of course, like Bob alluded to, Six Flags Darien Lake always disappoints me. They're always taking something out the park. They never really added anything to it. It feels like the park is empty. They need to add more to the park because that park has the greatest potential, even more than St. Louis or any other or Six Flags America. They have so much they can do with that park.
They should have RMC Predator instead of Titan Track.
Yeah. They already gave it the Titan Track treatment, and then you also have
the Titan Track.
Huh?
It is pretty good with the Titan Track.
I like it. It's much more smoother than It's much more.
I wonder if Six Flags actually owned it and didn't just operate it. If they would actually had done RMC'd it instead, but since they only operated it, wasn't.
That's probably what it is. If I had to guess.
And here's the huge hindrance of the park: one train on Superman. Come on, man.
Remember though, it's not called Superman.
Huh?
It's not called Superman. They're not allowed to call it Superman.
The Ride of Steel. Excuse me. The Ride of Steel. One train on the Ride of Steel. Unbelievable.
And it was funny because when I was at Darien Lake, all the ops were calling it Superman. And I'm like, oh my God, if corporate was here, they would be losing their mind. You are not allowed to say that.
Yeah.
Because they are them, Great Escape, and LaRon do not have the Warner Brothers IPs.
Wow.
Anyways,
and they also have one more.
Ace. Oh, go ahead, Ace. Go ahead.
Oh, one more. Because I made sure I scoured. I didn't want to make the same mistake that I did when I made my 25 park 14-day challenge back in May to June, in which I scoured all the New York to make sure on RCDB that I didn't miss anything. Listen, Holiday Valley had an exquisite mountain coaster. Incredible. No BS. Straight down. Even though it just rained a little bit. That thing, I thought I was going to fall off of it. It was incredible. Colin, you would have loved it if you would have had time to go there.
I'm sure I would have, but I'm sure it won't be long till I'm back in Canada. So.
Yeah, you got to get there. You and your dad definitely got to get there. So those are all the Buffalo Canadian parks. Of course, I did the Franken Coaster. Franken Coaster was pretty cool with the maze, So yeah.
So I'm gonna let Ken go now because I know Ken's been eagerly waiting.
Yep.
Ken, what are your thoughts on the Northern New York and Canadian parks that you've been to?
Great Escape is a very cute park. I like that I kept a lot of the old stuff there, like all the kiddie areas with the little houses and everything.
Yes, it gives it a different vibe than the other Six Flags
the
parks.
cave that you walk through up to the top area. It's a fun park. I mean, I wouldn't be rushing back up there to go there, but it's worth a visit if you're in the area. And there's a lot more to do in that area too. And Darien Lake, Tantrum was my favorite there. Tantrum was definitely my favorite there.
It's an interesting take.
Did not like the Titan track. Superman's just helix after helix and slow. But did you
What
ride
about
Moose
Viper?
on the Loose?
You didn't like
Moose on the
Viper?
Loose?
I did not ride Moose on the Loose, but I watched it. That was more than enough for me.
And Seabreeze was actually not open when I was up there. That time of year, they were not operating. Same thing I had when I was in college up there. So I never got into Seabreeze.
Wow.
And Canada's Wonderland, I still am amazed by the operations there, how they can keep every train fully loaded, not an empty seat. And I'm happy they're getting another ride because they need it badly. Although I kind of think that King's Dominion should be getting the ride they're getting, and the ride at King's Dominion should be going to Canada Wonderland. I think it's going to be a little too small.
I could see that. And that actually is an excellent segue into our next segment, which is talking
Alpen
about
Fury.
Alpen Fury. So, Ken, since you kind of let us in, what do you think about Alpen Fury other than the fact that it should have gone to King's Dominion?
What do I think about Alpen Fury? I wish it was dueling, but I just can't imagine that they could fit another ride into that mountain. That's what I think is so amazing, that they actually fit another ride into that mountain.
Yeah.
But it looks like it's going to be a very fun ride. I'm just worried about the loading of that ride. Those trains are not fun to get in and out of.
No. Thankfully, this one will not have comfort collars, so that will definitely help. And it did look like in the animation that the train was like
did they confirm
different. Yes.
Did they okay. Because I was gonna say, sometimes they trick us with stuff like that.
No, thankfully, this definitely will not have comfort collars. But in the animation, you can see that the sides of the train look a little more open, like they almost took a piece off so that it's easier to kind of slide in and out. But still, we all know those trains are super tight.
Oh, my God.
I mean, it's great that it'll just have lap bars, but it is going to be a struggle for larger guests. They might have to assign them to just like row 1, row 4, and row 7, because those are the front of the car and there's more space there. But either way, I think, you're going to have issues with capacity. But in the same vein, there's not much they really could have done about that, because the ride itself, if it's a very tight plot, I think it is one of the best designed coasters I've ever seen. The way the layout is just set up is perfect. I mean, you can't get much better with the way it interacts with the mountain, with other rides, with itself. It looks phenomenal. And even if you went with like an Intamin, right, it probably would have been a 5-car train, which will be 20 riders per train. You would only run 2 trains on it because there's no room for an extra block. So even if you had a 3rd train and you did make like the brake run maybe a little longer, it would just stack and it would not increase the capacity anymore. Same thing if they went with a Mach or a Vekoma, it'd be the same thing. So people that are concerned over the capacity, I get it. But with the style of coaster they're going for, there really was no other way to make the capacity better unless they made the ride longer, which there's not really any room for that.
Yeah.
But
Ace,
what do you think about Alpen Fury?
I'm excited about it. The only thing is that, like Ken alluded to, it's not great for us tall people. Just like you go all the way back to the original Generation 1, the Chiller and Mr. Freeze coasters. It's like, I don't know how they haven't improved the seating for us. I don't know. Look at the one in SeaWorld Orlando. Icebreaker. They're just so uncomfortable. But it's a great coaster. I can only imagine. So you're just gonna have to deal with the tight squeeze fit when you sit in that thing. It's the only thing. So,
Bob, what are your thoughts on Alpen Fury?
I have giant feet, so I hate getting in those trains because on top of like they're already hard to get into, just getting my size 13 feet in there is annoying as hell. Yeah, I just think the whole thing everybody said about the capacity thing is going to be weird, especially at a park like that that's always so freaking busy. Like, that part didn't make sense to me. Chris made a good point on his video about it, saying a lot of the stuff looks like Max Force type maneuvers, even though and elements, even though they're not the same company. And I didn't think about that when I seen it, but he does make sense with that. But I still think that, I don't know. I've seen people talk about both sides of the equation about how the inversions aren't really inversions and all kinds of stuff. And then I think it looks cool though. I like the way it goes out. It looks like it's going to be out right over the pathways and stuff too, so you'll be able to like see a lot of the stuff. And for a photographer like me, it's awesome if I have more openings like that. So I still think it's going to be awesome.
I think the biggest thing with that ride, especially with the inversions, because it's so inversion heavy, is that the inversions are going to need to have some force, whether it's whip, whether it's hang time, air time. If they don't have that and they just kind of coast through it, then it won't be that great.
There's one airtime hill.
Yeah, exactly.
So they have to have forces. Yeah.
But if it does have forces through those inversions, I could honestly see it possibly being the best coaster in the park, truly. But Brian, I don't want to neglect you. What do you think about Alpen Fury?
I think it's an awesome ride. The layout looks awesome, unique, different elements. I could see this be more a hang time type of coaster. That's what they're gonna, again, with only really seeing one airtime hill. I think they're gonna lean more to the hang time on this. But yeah, those trains, again, someone tall, it's not fun getting in and out of those trains. But hopefully they might have modified it a little bit. But once you're in it, it's comfortable.
Yes, it is very comfortable when you're in it. It's kind of like an RMC train, just better because the shin guards don't hurt you as bad.
Yeah.
But
I think it'll be a good addition.
It's unfortunate, but
Cedar Fair has a really strong selection of new coasters coming. I mean, you have Alpen Fury, Rapterra, and Snoopy at at Carowinds. I do think I get why people are saying Rapterra should have gone to Wonderland and Alpen Fury should have gone to King's Dominion. But at the end of the day, ever since King's Dominion got rid of Volcano, they put Twisted Timbers in, and I think that kind of filled the secondary crazy high thrill ride. I mean, yes, they don't have the same inverted, launch, all that stuff, but I think I-305 more than takes care of the positive G department in terms of intensity. And Rapterra definitely does fill a gap in the parks lineup. They are kind of lacking that looping coaster that's not super intense and has some more floaty elements. And I think it'll fit in really nicely. So at the end of the day, I'm happy with the additions. I think they're all really good. And Snoopy going to Carowinds along with their kind of bucket blaster style ride they're getting, I think that's going to be a nice addition too. It's great to see that ride going in. It was funny because I actually wound up riding Snoopy's Racing Railway at Canada's Wonderland the day that Carowinds announced theirs. And it's a really fun ride. I think it's definitely going to be good for Carowinds. I do wish it could run 2 trains. I think that would definitely help with capacity, but as long as you hit it early or, there's other rides for people to ride, I don't think it'll be a big issue. But the Cedar Fair slate of additions is really good. So let's talk about some of the Six Flags stuff, more specifically something I've been getting a lot of questions about, and that is Flash. So, as I'm sure you guys have all noticed, they went on the 50th anniversary section of the website. I'll pull it up now just so I can show everyone exactly what I mean. They took Flash off the new for 2024 section of the 50th anniversary. So we go here to the 50th anniversary.
I told you.
And as I scroll down, you can see it is no longer there. So again, it is not confirmed yet. Keep in mind, it is not confirmed yet. This is the first sign that it will be delayed till 2025. Now, I'm not going to lie. I kind of had a feeling this was going to happen, and I don't think it's entirely the park's fault. I think from the get-go, corporate kind of throwing this edition in last second, because you heard last year on the conference call, Gary Mick said, we had a nice opportunity last second to get this coaster in there. Last second coasters never open on time. We know that from past experiences. It never happens. And the park already had a ton of other stuff going on. They had Log Flume, Giant Wheel, Savannah Sunset, along with all the other stuff they were doing. And Log Flume still has yet to open. And I think that's partially due to the fact that they had to split labor between that and Flash. And because, of course, Flash had what happened, and it's not going to open more than likely, they got a little behind on Log Flume. And then, of course, they had to do a lot of work to Log Flume. And if you look at it, they pretty much redid the entire ride, which definitely wasn't cheap and definitely took a lot of time. It will open soon. It'll definitely make it by the end of summer. But still, it is disappointing to see that Flash more than likely is not going to make it for the 2024 season. But I do have an idea, and this isn't like something that the park is doing necessarily, but I think this would be the best of both worlds because obviously it's not going to open by like Labor Day weekend or anything. They're kind of past that window at this point. And with Cedar Fair in charge now, I highly doubt they want the big new coaster to open in the middle of Fright Fest. Fright Fest, a great adventure this year, is already massive. They have so much going on, so many big IPs, and they are rapid fire on the construction. I think it's kind of good that they've almost kind of paused construction on Flash. That way they can focus entirely on Fright Fest. You don't want to have a situation where you're advertising this massive new Fright Fest event for the year and they're not able to have everything ready for opening day, which is Friday the 13th. So they're moving really quickly. They already have walls going up for the mazes. And as far as I know, some of the mazes too are pretty far along inside. So it's a good sign. But I think something they definitely should consider is to have Flash open during Holiday in the Park just for pass holders and members. That way you'll be able to allow 2024 pass holders to ride it during Holiday in the Park, technically still a part of the 2024 season. And that can also act as an incentive for people to buy the 2025 season pass. That way they can also get access to Flash early. And then it'll open to the general public on opening day 25, whenever that is, in March or April, whatever it winds up being. I just don't think it's entirely a good idea to fully postpone the coaster till 2025. I imagine they will get it ready to be open whenever they need it to be open. We'll probably see it test in 2024 at some point. But at this point, I think it's more so corporate's call than anything else because this ride kind of got caught in the middle of the merger. And the same thing happened with Georgia Surfer too. I imagine they had more time to plan out Georgia Surfer than they did for Flash because I don't think it was as last minute of an addition as Flash. But I still think Georgia Surfer might follow the same trajectory of Flash and possibly get pushed to 25. And again, I don't think that's the parks. I think that kind of comes down to the fact that you have old management going into new management and a giant merger in the middle of it. And everything kind of gets jumbled up and lost in there. So again, I don't blame the park at all. I think they had a lot going on. And with what they had to work with, they definitely did what they could. I'm sure a lot of you maybe aren't so happy about the way the 50th turned out. I get it. You know, there were some ride delays and other things that didn't happen. I totally understand that. But there were some other surprises that wound up happening that we didn't even know were going to happen, like the retro bar. So that's always nice. But Flash, I think their best course of action is to open it in Holiday in the Park for pass holders, members, whatever, and then open it to the general public on opening day of 2025. Because Cedar Fair, they love having their new rides open on opening day, and I think that would probably be their best bet. But that's the way I see it with the whole Flash situation. If you guys have any comments that you want to share, go for it.
Yeah,
I think they should wait till next year because
yeah,
they have nothing for next year if they do that.
I concur with both of y'all.
Coming next year. So
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And once from the get-go, when they announced Flash as a throw-in, I believe of December 2023, I had trepidation all along that this was not going to open for 2024. Even though they got the track put together. When did they put the track together for Flash?
I think they went vertical. Well, no, yeah, they went vertical when I was at Top Thrill 2 Media Day. So
And
that ride opened as Flash was going vertical.
yeah, there was just no way. Even though they completed it back in like June, the end of June, right? No,
it was in, I think, end of May. They finished vertical construction in about a month.
Yeah, it's just.
That's why,
Yeah.
I mean, believe me, I was fully intending that ride would probably be open for the summer, just judging off the way construction was going. And then it slowed down a bit, and, that's what happened.
Yeah, in the merger, you have so much going on, and then Six Flags
Merger
had
definitely
infrastructure.
had a big role in why the ride is in the state it's in right now.
Yep,
I think
yep.
that is probably the biggest thing that wound
Yeah.
up, because if the parks or the chains weren't merging until, say, the end of 24, I definitely think Flash would have been open in July, August, something like that.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
for sure.
even though despite
If
having
anyone
so much,
needs,
Go ahead, Brian.
no, Ace can go.
I was saying, despite having a barrage of projects going on at once, the giant wheel, the log flume, the infrastructure, the 50th anniversary, there's just so much stuff going on too.
No, but
Brian?
you can't just because the park has so much going on. That's not an excuse. Anyone that's done businesses or has dealt with finances clearly was a money issue. The merger played such a huge part because assets were frozen. Once they said, "Hey, we're merging," parks can't spend. So whatever they already spent on the ride, that was it. So then when it came time for all the other little stuff, they had to stop. Then when the merger went through, okay, now you can start back up because you noticed that you watched the construction site, you saw. So if there's anybody to blame here, it's that merger and they dropped the ball. So Celine, right? What was his bonus out of that merger? 11 million, was it?
Wow.
Anyone wants to blame, point fingers, Celine, for taking all that money. Take 10. You could have, boom, Flash would have been done. So
I disagree in certain areas for sure.
Yeah, it's money rules all. Money
At the
makes
end of the
things
day,
go
it
round.
was just money. That's
money
really
talks.
That's what it is. So you can't blame the park. You can't blame
Vekoma.
Brian, the park president. He came into this mess. It's
And
all.
what about Vekoma?
It's
I'm
not
sure
Vekoma. They
Vekoma
had
has
it.
played a role
They
in
had
it
it done.
too.
What do you mean?
They probably want their ride to be done the right way because it is their big no ride debut in North America. They want it to be done right. And I highly doubt they would let the park or the chain open it kind of haphazardly. They want it done the correct way.
But at the end of the day, they'll have that ride done by the end of the year. But it comes down, you're not going to open a ride with the last 2 months of the season. You want to, again, open it at the beginning or early in the season to make it right for season pass holders. Because now some people bought passes for that ride. There had to be a sale. So then you're screwing them over. All you got to do is, hey, when it gets done, be like last 2 months open for season pass holders. That's what I agree with. I hope they do it. Everyone that goes to the park and sees Brian, tell them that. You voice your opinion. The park listens.
They do listen.
Go ahead,
they
Colin.
very much so listen.
You should definitely.
There are certain things they are able to do, other things that are out of their control and come down to corporate. This could be one of those things that just comes down to corporate. If they say yes, then sure. The last time we really saw anything like this was with West Coast Racers, and it opened in December for pass holders and January for the general public. So they've done it.
They've done it before. It's not unheard of.
No, it's
not.
not.
Because there's side note though with the Kennywood, because one of the season pass holders suing because they shut down Steel Curtain. A month
they are.
They had a sale, and then a month later they closed it, and their whole argument was like, "How did you not know it would be down for the year a month before you're making promises?"
Exactly.
Anyone know what happened to that? Because if that went through, then Six Flags might have its own little lawsuit.
Yeah.
If they don't
Six Flags is a little less easy to argue than that one, since they didn't know that this was going to happen from the get-go, because it was a completely different corporate team behind it. So I highly doubt they planned on having it open in 25. Meanwhile, Kennywood, they knew that Steel Curtain was not going to open. But it's a very difficult situation to kind of decipher, truly. There's a lot of layers.
To make it right, just finish it and open it for pass holders.
Go ahead and speak to Brian. Go ahead and bring that up to Brian when you have your next conversation, Colin. Go for it.
I 100% agree. I think their best course of action at this point, don't bother opening it for Fright Fest. That's just a waste of your own money. Fright Fest is huge this year.
Holiday in the Park.
Massive. Holiday in the Park, because Holiday in the Park is
typically
that highly attended.
Okay, Colin.
Oh, no, go ahead. Finish at this point.
I was saying you could definitely use some more attendance for Holiday in the Park as opposed to Fright Fest.
Like I was saying, Holiday in the Park, as Ace just said, does not get as much attendance as the rest of the year, and opening Flash for pass holders would definitely bolster the attendance. And that ride, as far as we know, is designed to run during Holiday in the Park. It should be able to open. I mean,
they'll have a B mode for winter. They'll have a summer and winter mode.
I'm sure they have something along those lines.
They'll have that, so it'll run.
But yeah, no, I think at this point, that's what they should do. Have it open to the general public in March or April or whatever of 25 and call it a day. Because as far as we know, they are not getting a new ride for 2025. They haven't announced anything yet. There still is time for them to announce something. I don't know that it's going to happen because of what's going on with Flash, plus the fact that Loxham's not even open yet. So we're going to have to wait to see. We got a super chat.
Oh,
down to that.
Here we go.
Thank you, John, for the super chat. I put a regular comment about Flash. Let me go ahead and try to find that. How long ago was it? Oh, there we go. So if Flash does not happen this year, they can explain to their pass holders their reasoning. Well, see, but that's kind of disingenuous to a point, because they're going to get a ton of flack for that. I mean, people have been watching the construction timeline. I have obviously been covering it very closely, and they they're not far off from where they need to be right now, if I'm going to be honest. In terms of getting it open for, say, Holiday in the Park, it could definitely happen. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. It's definitely going to be interesting to follow. I really was hoping this wouldn't wind up being the situation. And again, this is not confirmed yet, but we do see on the website that on that particular spot, it has been taken off new for 2024. And I also noticed that in the park, those banners they had advertising Splash Island, Savannah Sunset, or I think it was the Safari, and Flash, they're all gone. I haven't seen them at all ever since I noticed that. So I don't know. At this point, we're just going to have to wait and see what happens officially from the park. And I see people asking about Holiday in the Park. It is confirmed that it will be coming back this year. It will be back. I know people were kind of wondering if it wasn't going to happen. If it was, it is happening this year, thankfully.
I have to say that the Top Thrill 2 is probably having the same effect. They probably had to spend money to get that ride fixed, and because of the merger, they couldn't spend that money.
100%.
So that's why it's in the state it is right now.
Top Thrill 2, honestly, I don't know which situation is worse from a pass holder perspective, this one or Top Thrill 2, because both are pretty rough. I mean, Top Thrill 2 at least opened. I think it operated.
You had a chance. You just had to get there.
You did have a chance to ride it. It was open for about 6 months.
None.
Yes, Flash, there has been none. But Cedar Point, I mean, they're in a really tough spot right now, and I know people are giving Park a lot of flack for not making a statement. I agree. Maybe they should say, we're still working on it, but what can they really say at this point? It's not in their hands. It's in Zamperla's hands. They're the ones that are in charge of fixing this right now. And I'm not saying blame Zamperla. I mean, there's definitely mutual blame on both sides. I'm not really going to get into that here because it's a very complicated subject. But, you have a manufacturer who's never done anything on that scale yet, and you throw them into the biggest thing they could possibly do, there's bound to be some growing pains. They had plenty of time to work on it, of course, but still, things happen. And, all companies have gone through that. B&M, Intamin, Mach, they've all gone through those growing pains, just not on projects on this big of a scale. Zamperla just kind of got stuck doing it on the biggest project they could possibly do it on. And now we're in the situation that we're in now. So if I had to guess, Top Thrill 2 will not reopen until 2025. That is my guess, because they're not going to reopen it during Halloween weekends because that's already a big draw. And reopening that is almost a new ride, really, because not many people got to ride it at all. I mean, out of this group, only 3 of us out of the 5 rode it, and it was all on the same day. So, there wasn't really much of an opportunity to go ride it.
But 6 days?
What was that?
6 days, Bob, and Ken and Colin, 6 days that the ride was open. The media day.
I believe it was 6 because there was media day on Thursday, the preview Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then the weekend after, and then that was it, I'm pretty sure. It was no more than 10 days, that's for sure.
Wow.
And then, of course, there's the Georgia Surfer situation as well, where that ride is definitely a little further along than Flash. It wasn't looking like it originally, but I do think it's a little further along. But again, it kind of seems like they slowed down construction there as well, so we don't know what the plan is with that either. It's kind of just a waiting game at this point until we get an official announcement. But if I had to guess, at this point, this is kind of in Cedar Fair's control since, again, they're the ones in charge of Six Flags now, so I'm going to just refer to them as Cedar Fair. They're probably the ones that are going to be like, either you open it now or you're not going to open it till next year and you're just going to market it as the new ride for next year, which, again, you have issues doing that where you're going to get pass holders who bought a pass specifically for that attraction who are not going to get to ride it and have to buy another pass, which opens up a big, big can of worms.
Happened with Jersey Devil.
Oh,
yes, but the circumstances for that were very, very different.
It was very different, but it's kind of the same thing. It opened a year later. You have the pin that says 1 year and the next year. So
I do. And I made a shirt. Of course, I had to jinx it. I made a shirt for all the coasters at Great Adventure, and I put Flash as 2024. And I guess I jinxed it.
So it's your fault. We all blame you now.
It's all my fault.
Stuff happens.
But no, seriously, if you get a survey from Great Adventure, write on there that suggestion about Flash, that if you can open it for the last 2 months for pass holders to at least make it. Because just tell that park any way you can, hey, this is what we want. They'll eventually get the message.
Even if it's only one train operations.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's only if it's one train. We'll take one train.
One train to do.
Nobody laughed.
Hey,
I got you, Ken.
High water, hey, whatever it takes.
But no, I mean, like I said, I'm going to move on from this now because we've been on this for a while. But it's a subject we're all very
let's beat it.
passionate about,
Let's beat the dead horse.
But no, I mean, if anyone from Great Adventure is happening to be watching right now, I think your best bet is to open it for Holiday in the Park for pass holders. And it's honestly, a really good idea because you're making the 24 pass holders not pissed, and you're incentivizing 25 passes as well because you buy a 25 pass, you get access to the park in 24, so you'll get access to Flash. I think that is truly the best route they could take right now.
Yes.
But with all that being said, we are done with my section of comments, so I'm going to scroll all the way up to the top of the stream and start from the top and work our way down in the chat. Of course, as usual, if you send a super chat, I will jump to that immediately. But otherwise, you'll have to wait your turn.
I do have to ask, Colin, did you ride flat rides at Canada's Wonderland?
Rode every single one of the big ones. I rode, let's see. I can't even remember. I got to pull up the list because I cannot remember.
Lumberjack.
Well, I didn't ride Lumberjack because they have that at Dorney and I've already ridden it. Gotcha. I rode Sledgehammer, Tundra Twister, the Drop Tower, Skyhawk, Wild Nightmares, which is like their massive roundup ride.
That was so cool.
Soaring Timbers, Windseeker because whatever, Boo Blasters, Riptide. I rode Timberwolf Falls accidentally. I thought it was a log flume. It's obviously not. So we got soaked and I didn't really want to. I didn't ride their rapids because I was already soaked at that point and it wasn't that hot out up there. So I didn't want to get any more soaked. But I rode all the big flat rides for the most part. I don't think there's anything I missed other than Lumberjack and the Pendulum, but I've already been on rides like that. And I will say about those rides, none of them were what I expected at all. Like Sledgehammer, people had like built up like this would be this crazy ride and it was cool, but really the only super thrilling part of it is when you get lifted up and you have to be on this side of getting lifted up to really feel the full force because then you kind of get thrown up into the restraint. But otherwise it was relatively tame. I thought Tundra Twister was really cool and no one talks about it. It only really has one or two really cool moments, but those moments are super cool. I hated Skyhawk because I couldn't get
intense as the video made it seem. It's
actually definitely not.
Ride. It's a very fun ride. You never really go upside down.
No, you just get some really cool, like kind of snappy forces almost. But Skyhawk made me really mad because I could not get it to flip, and I did exactly what you're supposed to do for those sky roller rides, and I couldn't get it to flip, not once. Neither could my dad. We were both, it was way too stiff for us to actually flip it, which kind of pissed me off, but oh well. Riptide was weird because the water wasn't working.
Quick.
I know. Well, they're building dueling ones at Epic Universe, so I'll have that. I mean, all the flat rides were really good there. If you do go to Wonderland, don't miss out on those. But I'm going to start off with right here. Congrats on being first.
Are you going to touch base on Disney's announcements this weekend? Or
you know what? I kind of forgot about those because there's so many. I'm trying to think who has
coaster.
Nice.
I'm trying to think who has a good list of everything. Let me see if DSNY might have it on X, just so I can kind of scroll through them really quick.
Because they had some interesting stuff. Still, Epic is winning the battle down in Florida, but
no, Universal has it all. Universal's taking the cake.
I think I'm not surprised they're doing it. I'm just shocked that it like came out of nowhere. I mean, I knew that like D23 was going on, but I expected a couple things, and they're like, oh, boom, 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 and just like shotgun.
I still don't trust they're going to do it.
No, I don't either.
This wasn't blue sky though, so that was nice. That it wasn't that blue sky crap that they pulled on.
By the time they actually do it and finish it, like Universal will be building a 6th park. So,
well, they'll have another water park and another park. So
I'm going to run through everything they have here, and then we'll talk about it. So there's the Avatar Land based on Way of Water going to DCA. There's a Coco boat ride going to DCA. Oh, hold on, we got a super chat. What's it called? Text, but there's a sticker. It doesn't show up on StreamYard for some reason, but it's a video game controller bouncing that says "new." So, thank you, Billy, for that. Let's see. If you have an actual question, feel free to send it, and I'll jump right to it. There's the new nighttime parade at Magic Kingdom. That's gonna be sick. Starlight. There's the Lion King expansion coming to Disneyland Paris. Walt Disney Studios Park, which is not called Walt Disney Studios anymore. I forget the new name. But it's based on the live action movie, not classic, which is kind of weird. There's a new Walt Disney animatronic that's going to be in rotation with Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln. There's the Tropical America's Land at Animal Kingdom, and that's going to consist of the Indiana Jones attraction that's replacing Dinosaur, and it's not a clone of the one that already exists. It's completely unique. There is an Encanto ride that's also a part of that new land at Animal Kingdom. There's Test Track 3.0 that's opening next year. The Monsters Inc. land, I don't know why they don't have any pictures of it, but the Monsters Inc. land is going to include a Mike and Sully Scream Doors roller coaster that's suspended that looks unbelievably cool. I've always thought that should be a coaster ever since I was a little kid, and the fact that they're actually doing that is so cool. I don't know why there's not a picture.
Do you see the model that they had there for it?
They had a scale model?
Like a little model, like a mock-up of it.
Oh, really?
It actually looks like, if you really look at the detail, I don't know how accurate it's going to be, but it looked pretty.
Hang on, let me see if I can find a better.
They haven't announced a new movie in the franchise yet, but I assume they're going to at some point, right?
I hope so.
I would assume, yeah.
I assume if you're building a multi-billion-dollar land, it's probably going to have whatever it's going to cost is going to be we're going back to Toy Story, we're going back to all these other franchises,
All right, I found a better
and blah blah blah.
I found a better listing of all the rides. So this is there's 2 rides going to Hong Kong Disneyland, I believe. Or I might be wrong. This one,
I think one's Shanghai, one's Hong Kong.
Yeah, I think you're right. This one is Spider-Man and the Avengers. It kind of looks like Tower of Terror, but themed to Spider-Man, which is super cool. Then this is the Shanghai Spider-Man roller coaster, which I wish that was coming to the States because that looks amazing. I'm assuming it's probably going to be fairly similar to Guardians, just, of course, themed to Spider-Man. Then they're changing Galaxy's Edge to have Mandalorian and Grogu instead.
And then adding
this I'm not too cool about. They're having Cars Land go to Frontierland at Walt Disney World at Magic Kingdom. They're doing Beyond Big Thunder, which is a massive expansion of Frontierland at Disney, but they're not doing an original theme. They're doing Cars, which I'm not huge on.
Well, and they're not bringing. It's not even Radiator Springs Racers. They're bringing something completely different too.
It's supposed to be similar, though.
But this is the Monsters Inc. roller coaster I was talking about. This is by far what I'm most excited for, along with the Spider-Man coaster. This looks amazing, and it's going to Hollywood Studios. This is, I don't really care about that. They're changing. It's Tough to Be a Bug for the first time, I think, ever, and now it's going to be Zootopia at Animal Kingdom. Of course, Tiana's. There's the Encanto ride I talked about. There's Indiana Jones. There's Walt. There's the Log Flume. Starlight. There's Pandora. And I think that's it. Yeah, that's it.
They announced 4 cruise ships, didn't they?
Yes, they did.
I'm going to miss Dinosaur. Dinosaur I loved.
I don't even remember. I'm pretty sure I wrote it.
Awesome.
It was terrifying. I love seeing the kids crying coming off there. I don't know why.
Well, that was the first. They did tone it down, but I remember going on that first one, and it was scary because they had a scarier version, and now it was toned a little down.
It's terrifying.
Because when it was just Countdown to Extinction, and then it became Dinosaur, where they added the more friendlier dinosaur.
So do you guys think that all of these Disney editions are going to have an impact on Universal and their dominance right now?
Nope.
No.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
No, because it's going to take forever for this to get done.
I'm telling you, this ride right here, this isn't going to open till like 2028 at the rate Disney works. Unfortunately.
Yeah, and at that, it looks like it's probably going to be Vekoma, one of those.
Yeah, definitely. I would assume that's.
Well, they always work with
I think that's a very
Yeah.
old idea. I think they had that idea once before.
They
they
rumored Rock and
There's been
Roller
rumors
Coaster was
forever.
going to get changed to it years ago.
Yeah. I don't know where the Monsters Inc. land is actually going. They didn't.
They don't know. The rumors are it's either going to replace Muppets or it'll be the Launch Bay, which it makes
I got
more
a
sense.
super
to
chat
put
from
Launch Bay.
John. Thank you, John. And
Oh,
Villains
yeah.
Land. Yes, did they not post Villains Land on here?
I guess
This
not.
is the official Disney page. I don't know why it's not here. Great job, Disney. But yeah, they are also doing
Well, again-
Villains Land at Magic Kingdom, which is sick. I'm glad they're actually doing something unique.
Is that also going to be in the back behind Tiana and all that?
Yeah,
don't
it's
know.
all behind Thunder.
Is
There's
that all
like an
part of
expansion
Beyond
plot.
Thunder?
That's the only place to have land, right?
Yeah.
I guess
There's
yeah.
another expansion plot by Pirates that they can use, which is like rumored to be Moana boat ride down the road, but there's a couple expansion plots still not used.
I think the biggest issue with Disney is they're way too over reliant on IP. That's the biggest issue with them, which you can make the same argument for Universal, but Universal's parks were built based on that. A lot of these Disney parks, they were based on completely unique ideas, and they're slowly but surely ruining the way that they were set up.
I hate when they retrofit old stuff with IP. I don't care that they're building everything new with IP, but like I hate that they just have to fit IP in everywhere in the old stuff. It's so aggravating.
Honestly, the IP stuff should really mainly be in Hollywood studios because that's where it makes sense. It's themed off of that. But when you start messing with like Frontierland at Magic Kingdom, come on. I mean, I just think you're destroying the legacy of the park at that point.
Yep.
Epcot, look at Epcot.
Epcot doesn't even know what it is anymore.
But that Monsters Inc. coaster in the model, like it has one building where it would be the doors and it looks like the track goals go there, but where the station it looks like dual loading, but the two sides, and then it jumps to a track up there. So what it looks like, you're going to have from the station lift up, like your door lifting up, and then you'll go through a hole in the wall and into the main building. At least that's what the model. You got to find a picture of that. I might try and find one and send it to you. But
It kind of looked like a robot arm picked you up and put you up on the track.
But just it's a basic model, like. But just looking how there's two tracks on the ground and then it jumps to two tracks up top, and
right,
it goes.
Switch this. Is that big enough?
There.
Yeah, but you see, so on the bottom left, there's the load station 1 and 2, and then it just jumps to the top, and then it comes up into it. So it looks like out of the station, you'll be picked up and into the main building.
Yeah, you're right.
So that's pretty cool. If that actually happens like that, that's pretty cool.
I don't know why I can't find it. There's the robot arm Avengers ride going to,
it looks like a Kuka arm, like they just took off Universal's technology there.
Exactly. I'm guessing it's in here somewhere because this is for.
It might be this one.
Does Universal own that technology, or is it an outside company that?
Well, because I think it's Kuka. Because that's why it's called a Kuka arm. I think it's after the people that designed it.
Yeah, I'm pretty.
I think
sure.
they probably signed a contract like, hey, we're going to use you for this many years, and you can only work with us. And now they're up. I don't know, but it looked, whatever the footage, it looked exactly like a Kuka arm.
That's the thing
it is
forbidden. That's the Forbidden Journey thing, right?
Forbidden Journey.
Yeah,
and then
right
now
here.
rumored. Oh, here it is.
Okay, yeah.
It's only 2 across on this, but
Yeah.
no, that's the end of that. We did get a super chat. Thank you, if it would register. VR Ryan for the super sticker. I appreciate it. But yeah, I almost completely forgot about D23. There's a lot of stuff going on. They, of course, announced a ton of movie stuff. I'm not going to get into that here. Oh, there's the villains. I don't know why they pinned it like that, but yeah.
Well, because they made it into a clip, and not a.
And there's the cruise ships as well. But again, this is all going to take so long.
You're 5 to 8 years out.
Yeah, I mean, by then, Universal will have so much more.
Another water park, another park.
Exactly. That's what's going to wind up happening.
They'll have a park on the moon, and then Disney will be like, yeah, we'll finally build that fourth gate, the next gate.
Yeah, we'll get there eventually. That's the problem. They're always so behind the curve. That's the biggest issue with them. I mean, they do some cool stuff, but
it's Bob Iger though. He's like, hey, people got to come here. This is like a right. He just assumes everyone will make a trip there, no matter what.
I haven't been there in 8 years, and I don't see myself going back until the prices aren't ridiculous there. Honestly,
They are ridiculous.
That's never going to happen.
I know.
A one-day hopper, $255. I kid you not. And I believe that was the peak season. Like when I went back in May, it was ridiculous. Right after Memorial Day, unbelievable.
All right, so since we're getting backed up in the chat now, I'm going to start going through the chat. I apologize for taking so long to get to your questions, guys, but we'll get through. We already kind of talked about that. Thank you, Hunter. Greatly appreciate it. Welcome, Michael. And then Bob, I don't know if you mentioned it in the stream, but feel free to plug it now.
Yeah, so when I went to World of Fun, John and I got together with this kid named Ian, who's a coaster enthusiast / photographer from there, and he is the best young photographer I've ever worked with. Like his best stuff shits on my best stuff. It's amazing. So If you're on Instagram, go follow him. There's his account there. I was mind blown. He's got some amazing stuff.
Go do that. Let's see. Thank you. Appreciate it. And it looks like we wound up covering that for you. So hope you're still here, Fanta Orange. Hey, Bob, it's Deshaun. Haven't seen you since Cedar Point. How are you doing?
Oh, hi, Deshaun. Man, it's been a while. It's been like 5 years. Holy crap.
He lives over by us now. He's at Great Adventure all the time.
Oh, that's cool.
Let's see. If I get the All Park Pass, should I just cancel my Legacy membership? Well, no, because you can add the All Park Passport to your Legacy membership. So I would go that route more than likely.
If anyone has a membership, hang on to that. That's the best deal out like
It's,
that. What you get for that membership, hang on to it.
Yes, absolutely.
I would also say to try and add the add-on at the park, because then you may not get charged all the fees.
That's true too. They haven't made it clear how you're actually going to add it to your existing membership. And they haven't made any statements on Six Flags Plus, because I have gotten questions about that. I have no idea what's happening with Six Flags Plus. They have not made that clear. When do you think Flash is going to open? We kind of touched on that. Colin, I have a question. How does it feel reaching 20,000 subscribers? I really can't put it into words. I can't believe that's where we're at right now. It's mind-blowing. I didn't envision it happening this fast. So thank you all again. Chain-wise, you're separate. They've already done separate. So that's the way it's going to be right now. What'd you say, Ken?
It'll always be
I
separate.
said you get a little plaque from YouTube.
I got to wait till 100. So I'm 20% of the way there. One day. Let's see. Hey, Colin, I spoke to you and your dad outside Great Adventure. We spoke about Clementon. I need an opinion. If Jackrabbit was rebuilt from the original plans, but with a bit of an upgraded plan, I mean, then I guess you'd probably have to just get rid of Hellcat, because that replaced Jack. Well, did it replace Jackrabbit? Not really. They both existed at the same time.
Yeah.
That's true. I don't know. I mean, that park's in a really weird spot right now because they're owned by IB Parks. And IB Parks, they're in charge of Indiana Beach, Niagara Amusement Park, or Fantasy Island, and Clementon. And I know all three parks have been struggling from an operational standpoint. I know Indiana Beach, I've heard from a lot of enthusiasts that have gone out there this year that it's been a mess. I skipped Niagara, one, because they closed for weather, but also because of the fact that they're being run terribly. I mean, their new coaster that they've been saying is going to be open. It's going to be open. It's going to be open. It's testing nothing. And I know Lucan has been there a couple times, and it's a mess. So, and then Clementon, I haven't been to Clementon since 2017, and Hellcat has been closed for a couple of years now. They claim they're retracking it, but I don't know that that's actually happening. So, I don't know. I really do hope someone would come in and clean those parks up.
Yeah, with Indiana Beach, it's just bad news for you guys if you do want to go out there. Not a good year. The Triple Loop, I went there twice. The Triple Loop didn't even open. It's like it was closed. It's terrible.
I got on it. I got on it after we stood next to it early in the day and watched it roll back on the lift hill and blow out a drive tire right in front of us.
Wow.
They got it open for us for our ERT at like 9:30 with the park closing at 10 or something, and it was it's interesting.
How brutal was it on your neck?
There's only like, so here's the problem. It's the restraints suck, but if you didn't have them, you'd have whiplash immediately, because they do hold you in place enough that you don't. There's one really bad transition coming out of the loops, and then there's like one or two other like kind of bad ones. It wasn't nearly as rough as people say, though. It's just it's having been on two of the other ones that are much smoother, like it's definitely way worse, but I didn't think it was nearly as bad as people are making it out to be. And you know me, like I don't have a very high tolerance for roughness, and I'm saying that.
Steelhog is the best coaster in that park, hands down.
Yeah, it's really fun.
Steelhog
They're little like wild mouse thing, not Tiger, the other one, they Cyclone. Going down the drop on that, I pretty much was standing up. I got so much airtime, it was ridiculous. It surprised the crap out of me.
What isn't it called? Cyclone?
Cyclone, yeah.
And then the other one with the little bird cage one right across from it is really cool.
Lost Coaster.
Lost Coaster's so weird.
And the Hurricane Hoosier was good too. Hoosier Hurricane was pretty cool. I finally got to ride that this year. That was good.
All right, we're going to move on. This is my first live stream. Well, welcome to the stream. I hope you're still with us. Let's see. Have you ever been to Canopy Lake Park? I have not. I know Ace did.
That was cool. Yeah, that was cool.
Last year, were there two different prices for the passport for Gold and Prestige? No. I'm pretty sure, and the way they're doing it this year at the Cedar Fair parks, the all park passport is the same price, a flat $99 fee across both Legacy Six Flags and Legacy Cedar Fair. No matter if you get Gold, Prestige, or Silver, whatever the one Thorny has, it doesn't matter.
And you can add it at any time. That's the thing that's nice, is if you decide later on you want the all park, you can add it anytime after.
Exactly.
But then you're paying convenience fee.
That's true.
Yes, and taxes.
Question: if they were to change the name of King's Dominion, what will they do? They're not gonna change the name of King's Dominion.
If they did, it would be Six Flags King's Dominion, but they're not going to.
I mean, they did it with Paramount. It was Paramount's King's Dominion. So.
Yep.
Darien Lake day one was amazing. Yeah, Lucan and I got caught in a tornado at Darien Lake.
Wow.
Well, it was a mix of a tornado and a hurricane because Debbie was making her way up the coast and started to hit in that area. And then there was actually a tornado that touched down in Buffalo, which, of course, is very close to Darien Lake.
We had 4 touchdowns in Northeast Ohio. One about 3 miles from my house.
So when you guys see the video from Darien Lake of the whole situation there, the weather I caught on video was mind-blowing. It was brutal weather. And we were trying to run out of the park, and we couldn't get out.
I thought I was going to get caught in the tornado when I was driving down from the Iowa parks. What is that, Lost Island and Adventureland? And I was headed to Frontier City. It was terrifying driving through Kansas. Oh my God, it was just buckets of rain. I didn't think I was going to make it all the way down to Oklahoma City. Scary out there, Tornado Alley.
My favorite coaster at Wonderland is Leviathan. I agree. That is definitely the best one there. Oh, super chat. Thank you, Brian, for the super chat. Oh, it's actually a good one to bring up. What is everyone's thoughts on Gillian's Wonderland Pier closing? I believe we've all been there, right?
Yes.
Bob,
one coaster? There's only one coaster.
Is that the one with the kiddie coaster indoor?
Yeah.
Yeah. We walked down there. Remember, it was raining all day, and we were waiting for them to open Playland for us because they took care of us really nice at Playland, but we didn't ride the coaster Gillian's, whatever. It's sad. I mean, anytime a park that's been around that long closes, it sucks.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate. It really is.
Yeah, I heard about
that. Park's been around for so long. Been run by family, it always sucks to see that happen. I
really stopped there last weekend during the.
Hang on, Ace.
Half the park was closed. I mean, half the rides were closed. I was like, what's going on here? This was before the announcement.
Was the Wacky Worm open?
The Wacky Worm, I think the Wacky Worm was open.
Wow.
Ferris wheel was open. Block was not open. Claw was not open. Haunted House was open. That's what I went through.
That's crazy.
Wow.
No, that's pretty sad because as a kid, I used to go to Sea City, so it wasn't that far. So I have photos of me as a little one, and luckily next weekend I'm actually going with my daughter and her family, so I'll get to have my daughter kind of go on it. But it's man, this is her last chance to kind of enjoy it before it goes.
Yeah, I believe COVID had a hand in this too. It didn't help them at all. And weren't they leasing the property?
I think
that's what it said because the thing said he no longer owns the property and he doesn't know what's going to happen after.
During COVID, he had to do some stuff to keep it open. He's probably rewriting it now.
How unfortunate.
Well, that's enough sadness for the stream. We got to move on. Wonderland over Cedar Point and Kings Island. Wow. I mean, I haven't fully thought about it, but I'm saying from a park. The way the park is run, from a management perspective, Wonderland is definitely the best one, all across the board. The coaster collection definitely is not the best across the board.
Colin, did you get a chance to meet Grace?
I didn't talk to Grace. I talked to Nina, who is in charge of socials. But we had a really nice conversation.
I don't know. Grace is wonderful, though.
The whole team up there, they're really, really great people. That you can tell they really care about the park, which is always nice to see. But and that's not to discredit Cedar Point, Kings Island, any of them. I just feel like I had Fastlane one day at Wonderland. The other day I did not, and I still enjoyed myself without Fastlane. Granted, that was the day that was much less crowded. But Wonderland is a park that averages 40,000 people a day, which is absolutely insane. You never see that at like Great Adventure. Great Adventure is usually 10 a day, maybe. So it's a big jump. But yeah, for now, I'm going to say Wonderland's my favorite. I'm sure I'll think about it more and maybe knock it down one or two. But from an overall experience, it's the best. Let's see. I went to Niagara today. They legit closed the water park, like closed the gates where I have to open them to leave, while guests were still in the water park for what? It sounds about right. Let's see. Titan is good, but it's kind of what's Titan? I'm like drawing a blank.
Titan.
Oh, hi, Lane.
Hello.
Hi.
She's about to go to bed.
Wow. The girl's getting big.
Oh yeah, she's
Titan.
very close to Oscar.
Titan track.
Oh, got it. Yes, Titan track. Yeah, I see what you mean.
Roller coaster is Grover.
Grover's.
Wow,
Okay.
that's fancy.
Okay.
Let's
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. I'm getting
How
on some
much is
more
Six
rides.
Flags paying you, Colin? They're not paying me anything. I just enjoy the chain.
Wow.
How was Darien Lake? It was interesting. I definitely echoed the same opinions everyone else had, that, it could be a lot better for sure.
Yeah, the day I went, they were having a concert, and I'd never seen mayhem like that. I could barely get a parking spot. So the concert was going on like about 7 o'clock in the night.
I
and it was
do
crazy.
like.
I only went there.
Ace, let Bob go, please.
It's,
Go ahead.
I would say I do like Moto Coaster there. I think it's my favorite one of that type of all of
Yeah, it
them.
was closed.
It sucks. It has the best like launches of all the ones I've been on.
It looked good, but it looked abandoned too. So
It's kind of in a weird place.
Yeah, it's at that corner.
very weird swap. Congrats on 20K. Thank you. When are you going to Europe? No clue. As soon as airfare goes down a little, maybe then I'll go. But airfare is pretty steep right now. Was the best ride at Great Adventure? That would be El Toro, of course.
El Toro.
I do want to make a mention about Toro. They have a new rule there that is definitely disparaging for some guests, where the lap bar now must touch your thigh. It can't just touch your stomach. It has to touch your thigh. Otherwise, they will not let you ride. And they're pretty strict about it. There are little kids who are over 48 inches. They're allowed to ride height-wise, but they go on the ride and the restraint gets pushed all the way down, and it stops at a certain point. It doesn't keep going down. And at that point, I guess it's not touching their thigh, and the operator has to take them off the ride. That's the new rule. I think it's a terrible rule. I really don't think there's any reason for it. Those restraints are designed in such a way, especially with the seatbelt, where you don't need to be in that tight. And it also, not only does it upset kids who have maybe waited years to be tall enough for it, and now they can't ride it, even though they're tall enough for it, that also makes the ride less accommodating to larger guests too, because say you have a larger stomach than thigh, it'll touch your stomach, and if they can't get it
In the
past
super chat.
thigh, yes, you are right. Jump down to that. Where's Tom at? Tom went to Knoebels today, so Tom is still, I guess, coming back from there, so he'll not be joining the stream tonight, unfortunately, but he's here in spirit, of course.
Oh, he's definitely, he's always here in spirit.
Always. That horn, yes, that horn is always him in spirit. Let me see where I was. There we go. So, like I was saying, say you're a larger guest, right? You have a larger stomach than you do thighs. Say it touches your stomach and can't get to your thighs because of your stomach, you will not be allowed to ride. And I really don't think that's the smartest rule, because there's been no incident with those restraints. There never has been, and probably never would be, because not only do you have the seatbelt, you have the lap bar, which is designed in such a way that it will restrain you no matter what. So I think, honestly, just makes the operation slower, because it means they take more guests off each train. And when I was there, almost every train to take. Yeah, I probably just glitched out. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
You glitched hard.
Yeah. They had to stop every single train to check or take guests off the ride, which was awful to watch, because usually that crew is so fast. But with that new rule now, they can't be as efficient as they normally are. So from an operational perspective, I think it sucks. I think it's really unfortunate that they've decided to go that route. And as far as I know, the same thing is occurring on Ka. I don't think it's as egregious per se because those restraints are obviously way different. But as far as I know, it is in place for both of those attractions. Keep that in mind. If you get stapled, that doesn't necessarily mean they want to do it. That means they have to do it, which, you know, it sucks because it really does ruin the ride experience. I mean, on Ka, for instance, I was in there so tight yesterday that my back was beyond perfectly straight, and I was sitting kind of like this. And after I rode, my back was bothering me for the rest of the day. So honestly, I think it just lessens guest experience in a way that doesn't need to be, unfortunately. But hopefully, maybe someone will ride it and experience the pain that comes from being glued to the seat and rescind it. We'll see.
Well, I think they need to put a sign though for El Toro, because how many people have ridden it for years?
Yeah.
What?
There is still no sign, which is
That's what I'm
shocking.
saying. Like they need to modify the test seat then, because if you fit in the test seat and it goes green, and they're like, oh no, wait, no, you have to make sure it's not touching your belly, it's your physical hips. Well, where's that? Where's that sign? You're gonna have someone wait an hour or whatever it is.
And then with that being the case, seatbelts are pointless because if the lap bar is practically glued to you, why do you need a seatbelt? Because again, they're putting you in so tight anyway. It just slows down the operations even more. So there's a lot of angles to it. I hope it doesn't stay, but we'll see. Moving on. Still waiting on that big wheel light package. That will come in time for Fright Fest. It'll probably start being installed after the 50th anniversary celebration ends. That way it is ready to go for when the park is actually open at night during Fright Fest. Of course, we'll have to wait and see. But as far as I know, that is the current plan. What will open first? Flash, Top Thrill 2, or Steel Curtain? I might say Flash.
Flash.
I think Flash will.
I think it might be Flash.
Flash.
We'll see. But I think Flash. Let's see. Try to skip past the ones we already answered because there are a lot. 2 questions. Do you know when Log Flume will open? Hopefully by Labor Day. I imagine it'll be within a week or 2. They're not far off from being done. The water's starting to go in. They just have to put the lift hills, the conveyors to the lift hills in. All the trough is done. The photo system set up. The walls are down. They're in the home stretch. Is Medusa finally on 2 trains? No. It is still on 1 train. If Flash opens in 25, does that push back the coaster clock for them? I'm going to say no. And the reason I say that is because it's been emphasized that the Cedar Fair executives see a lot of potential in Great Adventure, and they want to start spending money as soon as possible to elevate that park to a higher level. And recently they had their stockholder call, actually, and Salim no longer does those. It is now Zimmerman, and I cannot remember the CFO's name, but it is the 2 of them. And Zimmerman emphasized that he wants to take the Six Flags parks and make them better. He wants to take the foundation that's there and just keep going with it and make them more in line with the Cedar Fair parks in terms of quality, which I think is great to hear. And I imagine Great Adventure is probably towards the top of that list because of the potential it has.
Oh, that's it.
And
yeah, Brian Witherow's the CFO.
Brian Witherow, that's right. But I imagine Great Adventure will get money fast and soon. I could see a new coaster coming as soon as 26, honestly. Definitely not 25. But 26, I think, would be the earliest I'd expect to see a new coaster. And I doubt that will be the first or last new coaster coming to the park. Let's see. I'm going to New England on Sunday, and I want to know what should be my 50th credit there. I've already ridden Wicked Cyclone, Superman, and Batman. Well, there's the 3 best at the park. You could think of Thunderbolt. What did you say, Brian?
Pandemonium. Isn't that the spinning one?
I mean, you could do Pandemonium. I would maybe do Thunderbolt just for its historical significance. It's not a great ride, but it is historic. That's kind of the conundrum I was into, where I had to pick between like bobsleds and then a Mauer spinner or Jackrabbit, and I went with Jackrabbit. Just pick whatever you think has the most meaning to you.
Or the Riddler Revenge, perhaps.
I would definitely not make it Riddler.
We're on the way there. It's not the Boulder Dash.
There we go. If you could operate any coaster or ride in the world, what would it be? I have 2. Actually, no, I have 3. Well, I'll just say 2. The first one is going to be whatever coaster it is overseas that has the brake man on it, where he literally rides along the train and activates the brakes as it goes along. I think it's at Tivoli. I can't remember for sure. 100% would love to have that job. I'd also love to operate Velocicoaster because they have such a fast-paced crew there, and the efficiency of that crew would just really ease my OCD. So I'd probably enjoy that too.
Well, I would love to do either Hagrid's or Gringotts because you'd be walking on that platform all day and I'd lose weight just organically.
That's true. Anyone else?
Brian?
I like the Hagrid's with the moving platform. That would be very fun. As a former ride operator, I honestly would go back just operating Superman again. That was so fun to operate that thing. I know it's not the most exciting coaster, but you're not riding the whole thing the whole time. You're putting people on it and sending it out.
That's a very popular ride, so I imagine it's very satisfying to pump people through.
Oh, no. The best thing is when you really get a crew running, and with that ride, how if you dispatch it too soon and the one train didn't clear the blocks yet, it goes into a slow crawl where it's like tick, 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 like it crawls up the lift. And then if you get it really fast, it'll stop at the top of the lift. And as long as it doesn't hit 20-second mark and the train clears the blocks before 20 seconds, the lift automatically restarts and goes. Because that always freaks people out when it stops and then resets with nobody telling anything. So you get running. Like I remember we used to, back in 06, you get running on those trains and just pumping them out. And you get it to stop, and then you'd hear the lift horn go, restart. And it's like, yes, we're rocking and rolling here.
Wow. What about you, Ken?
It's not around anymore. Dueling Dragons.
Understandable. Ace?
Oh, this is easy. That would be obviously Velocicoaster and the Chiller. It's not around.
Why Chiller?
It just brings historical significance to our park. You know, it was pretty cool. Like being
I heard it was
there,
pretty fun to hit that launch.
especially when
I
they do together, the Batman and the Chiller side. It was awesome.
I feel like Full Throttle would be fun too, because I always see TikToks and reels of people
one.
like doing really good spiels to like screw people up with the launcher.
Oh, they do that with. I would say they do that with Accelerator.
Yeah.
They do most launch coasters. They will, because like in 07, I was at Kingnicott, and we had to talk. The launcher had to talk to the train on the launch track, and that was when I had all four of the stations. So you'd have two trains go out. So you'd screw with the first train, you'd do a normal countdown. Then the second one, you'd launch them at 6 because they're like, oh, well, they just launched it, a normal countdown, and then they're not going to do it to me. Or you get it, if you're happy to know it, clap your hands, and whenever it claps, it launches.
That sounds fun. What is your favorite night ride? I think you and I might have the same answer.
I know what you're going to say. I can only imagine.
You want to say it?
I'm sure you're all going to say the Beast.
Yeah, you.
Oh, for me, it's Velocicoaster at night was incredible.
Oh, wow.
The other one.
At Kings Island.
Not Kings Island.
Oh, wow.
That one of the best parks in the country. Pitch black in the woods.
Oh, it was Outlaw Run. Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, we were at Outlaw Run with the fireworks going behind us in the woods at night. That was the most magical ride I've ever had on a coaster.
You'll never recreate that. That was unreal.
Unbelievable.
But yeah, Velocicoaster was phenomenal tonight. Getting package is unbelievable.
Oh, I know that.
Nitro's a really good one.
I don't know. I enjoy that at night. You can't see anything. You're just cruising.
Oh, yeah.
But they had the fireworks show going on a couple years ago when I got on Montu. That was pretty cool.
Honestly, Iron Gwazi. When we did that a couple years ago, that was hauling at night, and that thing ripped.
That and another honorable mention, Wildcat's Revenge at Hershey Park during dark nights. You know why, Brian?
Yeah.
Because the whole ride's pitch black, and then as you come to that overbank, there's a whole bit of fog there, and it's lit up by this one light.
It was
like dash through it.
It was pretty dark when we were riding Iron Rattler.
Yes, Iron Rattler night rides were great too, and it was funny because you could actually see the wheels sparking along the tracks because it was
Yeah.
running so insanely fast.
I got a million Wildcat Revenge night rides, just like you alluded to. Plus, it was raining quite a few times. So I had a million Dark Knight Wildcat Revenge rides with the rain too. So I got all types of variations of it.
That's like Sammy and I at the one coaster crew event, the night rides. It was like misting out. That thing was hauling.
Yep.
And it was
Okay.
cloudy, so you had that overcast. Like the haze was
Mhm.
kind of in the air. That
I
was,
cannot wait to go back to Dark Nights this year. That was just
that
Oh,
event is
It's exquisite. The only thing they need 2 more scare zones. That's all they need, and they're complete.
well, they're getting a new one.
Good,
They
finally.
just-
Finally.
You done?
the only thing that the scare zones is they just need a little bit more actors and a little bit more theming. Other than that, they killed it with the Halloween event.
You know why?
The merch, the haunted houses are amazing. They blow the haunt and Fright Fest out of the water.
But you know why,
Yeah.
right? Universal.
Yeah.
They told them, they go do what you got to do, and they carried it through. Did you hear about
Universal
that?
What do you mean?
What are you
They
talking
gave
about?
them ideas, pretty much.
No.
The people that excuse me, the people that worked for Universal, they had Universal's ideas and they implemented into that. Pretty much.
I don't know. I thought it was all done in house. They've been working
No,
on it for
I know
years.
it wasn't done in house.
They got ideas from Universal.
Did Horror Nights. Might be. I'm not 100% sure.
Well, Horror Nights there's a couple company. There's also like little companies that do some of the props and stuff.
Right.
Like there's a whole network of companies that do that.
Incredible.
Well, anyways, we're gonna move on. I like most of the additions for Disney, but these aren't opening anytime soon, and I wanted more details. Well, the fact that we didn't get more details tells me that, yeah, they're not opening anytime soon.
No.
It's going to be at least 4 or 5 years for most of these.
But the earliest 2026 was put on some of like 1 or 2 of them had 2026 as an opening date.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Well, I know, but that's what they tagged on there. Everything else didn't have dates. So 2 of those things possibly could open, the end of 2026.
I think Dinosaur Land's probably going to be the first to go.
I agree.
That might have been one of them that had it because you're reskinning one ride and you just got to put the other one. So you could. Indiana Jones should technically open first of all this stuff.
You would think. Was at Great Adventure today and saw someone still fixing log flume, but I doubt it. May not open. No, it will open this year. They're pretty much in the home stretch at this point.
Can they make it a snow slide?
Did see you in the park yesterday during training. You probably did. I was there. I think they should renovate Skull Mountain, kind of like what Silver Dollar City did with Fire in the Hole. Well, the thing with Skull Mountain is, honestly, I think they just need to completely tear down the mountain and rebuild it at this point. It's old. There's issues with it, and if they're going to do anything, with
Literally
Skull
falling
Mountain,
apart.
that's what they're going to need to do. Yeah, so we'll have to wait and see with that. I think as of right now, if I had to guess which coaster will go next at Great Adventure, it's between Skull Mountain and Green Lantern. That's what it's between right now, if I had to guess.
My money's
Skull
Skull
Mountain.
Mountain.
Not Green
I'm
Lantern.
thinking Skull as well.
I can see
Green
something
Lantern.
else to go with Green Lantern.
What ride do you think has the best operations at Great Adventure? I mean, it's really a tie between like Toro, Nitro,
Okay.
COD, depending on the day.
Jersey
Well,
Devil,
Devil like it's moving.
Jersey Devil, as long as it has more trains, it's fine.
Yeah, when it
Jersey
has
Devil
all 4
had
trains.
and pump them all out, then yeah, they'd be the best. Let's see. Will Warner Brothers IPs be going to the Cedar Fair parks, and will Peanuts be going to the Six Flags parks? They have announced that they can do that. They haven't said whether they will or not, because I believe they're still going to have to pay extra licensing fees per park. That's why, like Great Escape, Darien Lake, Luron, they don't have any of them. So it really just comes down to which parks they want to spend the money on having them, if they see it as worth it or not. We'll have to wait and see.
See, I don't see it going to all of them, but like, you look at Great Adventure.
Great
Thrill
Adventure.
Seekers area. Put a Camp Snoopy back there. Makes sense, Pine Barrens. But that makes sense to put both IPs because you have 2 different. Like, I could see something like that kind of needs an upgrade anyway to a kids' land. Maybe if it's in a big enough area too, like Magic Mountain or Great America. If it's one of the staple parks, they'll get both. But other than that, they're not going to spend that kind of money.
I agree for sure. Why is this not? Okay. I'm having terrible connection right now. Sorry. There we go. Apollo's Chariot or Nitro? I say Nitro.
I vote Nitro.
Any other opinions on that one?
Yeah, I find Apollo's Chariot to be very boring. Nitro for sure.
Ken?
I like them both. I'm not going to pick
Ace?
Obviously, Nitro.
Yeah, I agree. I love Apollo's Chariot too.
Good.
I really liked it when I first rode it too, but
Yeah.
as I've ridden more hypers, it's definitely fallen down a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's see. What are the odds that you think one of the 3 new coasters Great Adventure surveyed will actually make it into the parks? None of them will make it into the parks. What they're going to do is they're going to take elements of each and try to incorporate them. So you look at Wonderland, right? Wonderland had a survey of a B&M launched wing coaster blasting through Wonder Mountain. It looked very similar to what we got with Alpen Fury, but they obviously didn't go with that. King's Dominion got the launched wing coaster, but it doesn't go through a mountain. Wonderland got a multi-launch coaster that goes through the mountain. So they're going to take elements of that and try to make a new attraction out of it. This is just to kind of gauge interest on which direction they want to see people go in. So say you voted for that big mock extreme spinner, they're probably going to go for a more thrilling route, not necessarily a stupid shuttle coaster, but maybe it will be a full-scale multi-launch coaster. If you voted for the family coaster, maybe it won't be that. Maybe it'll be like a Vekoma or an intimate straddle coaster, something like that. So these are more to gauge general interest, not specific interest, if that makes sense. I
can see that family one, right? Wasn't the family launch, multi-launch on
Yes,
there?
that I could definitely see for sure.
That I could see something similar to that happening in the next like 4 years.
Yeah, they need it.
When they gave us that survey for Great Adventure, I believe it was like 2 or 3 years before Jersey Devil came out, they did have choices between a dive coaster, a raptor coaster, and I forgot what the third one was. So they had like 3 different choices.
And it wasn't Jersey Devil didn't wind up being exactly like the single rail they showed. It was kind of a variation of it. It was just to gauge general interest, like I said.
What was the other coaster? Which one? The third one?
I couldn't tell you. It's too long ago.
Yeah.
We should talk about Great Adventure Skyride. So they're not planning to get rid of it anytime soon, and we've known that for a while. I don't know why NJ.com made such a big deal out of it, or 101.5, I think it was. That's been known for a while. They never said they were getting rid of it. What they didn't say is when it will reopen. Now, I'm hoping we can see it reopen by, say, 2026. I think that's a fair estimate. Because remember, Busch Gardens Tampa, they had their Skyride closed for 4 years. People thought it would never reopen, but it's back and supposedly running better than ever. So they just have to do some form of refurbishment to this one because it's really old and it was bound to happen. And once they do that, it'll be fine. So they're not going to get rid of it because if they get rid of it, you're going to have those towers everywhere, which is going to look stupid. And then you have no transportation ride. So they definitely need to keep it. They're going to keep it.
Yeah, you need that.
But could they extend it?
They could go all the way to Savannah if they really wanted to.
Yeah.
I don't know that that'll happen short term, but we'll see.
That
They could also
happen.
do kind of like the Skyliner at Disney and go to Hurricane Harbor, go to the entrance outside the park for the safari, Savannah Sunset, and then back into the park.
Yeah, you know what they got to do is just redo it to the new Skyliner with Doppelmayr, I think is
Doppelmayr, yeah.
And you have it from the Fort Station, go right out to Savannah Sunset, and that's your personal transport to and from the park.
Yeah.
Take
That'd
all
be
the other
perfect.
towers out and the other station out. Put a flat ride in the other station.
There you go. I'm not going to go through every major ride manufacturer. I'll have us do Intamin, RMC, and B&M. I think that's fair. So my favorite Intamin is Velocicoaster. My favorite RMC is Iron Gwazi, and my favorite B&M is Fury. I imagine some of you will probably have the same answer.
Mm-hmm. Brian?
I think that might. I'm trying to just think of the B&M. The other two, yeah, Velocicoaster and Iron Gwazi. Yeah.
I mean, the only
Why did you
B&M
say
that
Trump?
competes with Fury for me is Goliath at over Georgia, but it's not better.
Yeah, no, I think it's Fury, top dog.
Bob, what about you?
For me, it's Velocicoaster. I still like Steel Vengeance just a little bit better than Iron Gwazi. And then what was the third one?
B&M.
Oh, nice and Fury. Oh yeah, Fury, Velocicoaster, and Steel Vengeance.
Ken?
I don't really do this. I don't have favorites. I mean, it's like I know what I don't like, but asking me what my favorites
So
are.
you're very good at picking on stuff you don't like. That's for
All right,
sure.
how about your
Yeah.
least of those manufacturers? Only you get to do the least.
What's your least favorite RMC, at least?
Steel Vengeance.
What?
Hot topic.
I have
Wow.
not ridden Iron Gwazi yet, so I can't tell you that.
No, wait.
Oh, you
was
gotta
that
get
your
on it.
favorite or least favorite?
Oh, you switched on me. My least favorite?
Oh, God, I thought you were saying Steel Vengeance was your least favorite. I was like,
I thought so too. I was like, wow, what the heck?
Damn.
My least favorite RMC.
please don't say Jersey Devil.
Oh. It's gonna be Jersey Devil.
Ah, it's all too common. Ace, what about you? What are your favorites?
I don't hate it though. I like Jersey Devil, but
Wow.
I get it. Ace,
Someone's gotta be
favorite
last.
B&M?
Intamin,
and
obviously, Ngwazi, B&M, Fury, and that's a B&M was Fury, and then of course Intamin, Velocicoaster.
So you said it's the same as us.
Exactly.
I'm riding Fury tomorrow, by the way.
Lucky. I had to ride the inferior one.
It's cool though. I mean, I love the low to the ground stuff.
Yeah,
It's
Leviathan's
nice.
great.
It's just not like my biggest issue with Leviathan was that there were two elements that were complete duds in a layout that has no room for dud elements. It's too short to have that because you have that after that big sweeping turnaround, you have that one low to the ground turn that just has no force, and then after the last airtime hill, you have that turnaround that does nothing, which that kind of it lessened the ride a bit. But the first half was really good.
and I thought it ended too soon. I was like at the end, I'm like, where's
Definitely
the
ended.
last
too
few
soon.
hills?
Yeah. I'd say it's probably on par with Orion, but
Yeah,
I don't know. They're all right. They're really good, but
yeah, they're very
anyways,
similar.
what's your favorite flat ride? Mine, actually, I'm going to say it's between the SNS Scream and Swing and the skyscraper style ride, whether it be Adirondack Outlaw, Great Escape, or any of the skyscrapers on the boardwalks. I don't know if I like Adirondack Outlaw or the skyscrapers on the boardwalks better. What I like about the ones on the boardwalks is that because they're smaller, you have more control with your feet over how much you flip, so you can make the ride crazier. On Outlaw, you don't get that because there's like triple the amount of people in your car, so it's still wild, but I don't know.
But that
I like
cycle is so long on that.
it's really long.
It's like you want it to be over.
Yes, yes, you do. What about you guys? What are your favorite flats?
Scream and swing.
I would say I don't ride a lot of flats with Scream and Swing for sure.
Yeah, it's very, very simple. Everybody has known all these years, ever since it opened at Hollywood Studios, the elevator ride, the Great Tower Terror.
Oh, well, that's kind of cheating.
Yes.
We didn't say drop tower. We
No,
said
that's a flat ride. That's a flat ride.
All right.
That's not a coaster.
I think drop towers are in their own category.
Oh God, Jesus Christ! Seriously? Okay, so if you want to make it that way, then I would have to say, So you said Scream and Swings are also in their own category too?
No, flat rides are any ride that's not a coaster, that's not a drop tower.
So that would be actually the one at Cedar Point is pretty much one of the best ones. The one at Cedar Point's great.
Well, that would just be any Scream and Swing then.
Yeah, those are great.
I'm just talking the model.
Well, the one at Cedar Point, what's the name of that one? That's pretty much
Skyhawk.
Skyhawk.
The Skyhawk is great.
Squadron
So your
33
favorite's
is
Scream
also
and
a
Swing.
favorite one. Squadron
Huh?
33.
Squadron 33 is really good.
Yeah.
So upset about that one. So
Yeah,
upset.
that's unfortunate. Besides the Northern Star Arena, where's the next best spot for a roller coaster Great Adventure? Assuming no removals, in between Toro and Ka. That's the other best spot, in my opinion.
Yep.
Or
take out the go-kart track.
Yeah,
Put it there and go over the entrance.
Go over the entrance, or over Congo Rapids, and beyond Jersey Devil. That piece there. A lot of trees, but
yeah,
I'd love to see one by Skull Mountain before there's like the old boat. There's a time clock fountain there now.
Yes.
You put a wooden like GCI station there. Hill goes behind Skull Mountain, and then you have the whole layout behind Jersey Devil through the woods, and then bring it back.
You know what? That would be our answer to Mystic Timbers at Kings Island. What would you say, Bob?
Yeah, Bob.
I mean, I don't know the layout of Great Adventure for crap, but the first thing in my head was, hey, we still have a bunch of land behind Jersey Devil, so I agree totally.
Yeah, that'd be exquisite. I've been talking about that. I've been screaming for that. I've been screaming for that for years.
Moving on.
Yeah.
Does the All Park Pass come with discounts for food and merch? They haven't clarified. So basically, if you buy it from Legacy Cedar Fair, all of your benefits only apply at Legacy Cedar Fair. So I assume you get no discounts at Legacy Six Flags and vice versa. Until we find out otherwise, that's going to be what I'm assuming. I was shocked to see what's happening there in person. Gene should either find local people that are passionate about the parks to run them or sell them all together. I agree. I mean, like Clementon, for example, I'm not going to go back until Hellcat reopens. Hellcat's not going to reopen until they put the money in to retrack it, and it doesn't seem like that's happening anytime soon. So the way they're running the parks is kind of sad. I mean, it started off really nice, when he saved Indiana Beach and everything, but I think he probably should have sold to someone who was more passionate, more knew what they were doing. I don't really know what the situation is. But something along those lines he should have sold, in my opinion. How bad is Flashback at New England? It's not bad. It'll beat you up a little bit. I'd ride towards the middle of the train in the front of a car if you don't want to get beat up. Yeah, Bob?
It's garbage.
Well,
although I wrote it back to back with the other one, though, too.
Goliath was so much worse.
On a cold day in the morning.
It just cracked me up that those two are right next to each other.
Yeah, that was an interesting design choice. What are your thoughts on the Giga Dive, in which was listed on both Magic Mountain and Over George's pass holder surveys? I think I don't know.
If they do it like Dr. Diabolical and have different elements than all the other ones, it'd be great. But if you just carbon copy all the damn elements from like they did on the first 6 of them, who cares?
I mean, if they do something like Yukon Striker, sure, go for it.
Yeah, fine.
I'd rather see a traditional Giga Coaster than that. I think that would fit. I mean, over Georgia, they should just get something similar to Dr. D. I think that'd be good for them, or a Vekoma multi-launch. But for Magic Mountain or Great Adventure, just give them a real Giga. You've done it for so many of your other parks at Cedar Fair. Just give them a real Giga. They need it, both of them, badly.
Absolutely, that's happening.
Magic Mountain, really.
And you know this too well, Brian. We almost got it in 2005 with Picasso. Hey, better late than never.
Yeah, but give it a dive. Just make a dive. Because honestly, like Iron Menace, don't put block brakes on them. They run so much nicer without the block brakes.
Yeah,
so you build something that big and not put a block brake. Oh wait, hang on, we got a super chat.
Thank you, Tom, for the super chat. Interrupting your stream to say I've successfully got home from Knobles. How are we, fellas? We're doing quite well indeed.
Cheers for making it home. Cheers.
Yes, congrats, Tom. You made it.
Great.
Your difficult day is over.
Great. What a way.
I think a dive don't build it 200 and something. Don't go Giga. Don't go for that. Just make it a normal layout, nice, put some unique elements.
What's the tallest current one?
245.
Yukon.
Which is how much?
245. 245. The best one.
There we go. That's where we were. Yeah, I agree. Just give them a real Giga.
Nah.
At this point.
Yep.
Let's see. Anyone ever see Green Lantern being removed anytime soon? Yes,
No.
I can see it being removed.
Yes.
For sure.
I do not. I can see some upgrades to it, but I don't see it being removed.
No.
There's a drop in ridership I've noticed this year, big time. And
It still had a line.
Yeah.
Yes, but not what it used to.
Okay, but let's say they put like Hulk trains on it where it's sit down. You don't see a bigger ridership go into it?
It would, but are they going to do that? That's the question.
No.
I don't know.
I think they see more value in getting a brand new coaster and marketing it as an actual brand new ride, with it being brand new, better capacity, all that. And Green Lantern's old. I mean, it was built in what, 97 at Kentucky Kingdom, 96, something like that. It's old. It's definitely getting towards the end of its service life, I'd imagine, especially because it was relocated too.
Yeah, but then Akumba should have been gone then too, because Kumba's older. So
True.
you're looking at steel.
1993. 31
That's
years
true.
old.
I can see Green Lantern hanging on for another few years. That they might do something to it. But I see other coasters going before that.
Yeah, that's true.
Definitely understandable.
Who knows? There was supposed to be a whole boardwalk revamp. You don't know what was in the plans for that.
It's going to happen eventually, I'm sure. What do you think of the chances of Great Adventure getting a Giga? I still think it's possible. It's more possible now than it was before because of Cedar Fair. But I think they're going to prioritize other additions. They definitely need a multi-launch. I know we technically got that with Flash, but I mean a non-shuttle multi-launch coaster. In addition, I think a new family coaster would be nice. You have Harley Quinn, Dark Knight, Skull, and Mine Train, but something more modern, maybe with launches. I think that'd be really nice for families and kids. I don't know. I still think we should definitely get one at some point, but I think that's lower on the priority list right now.
No, yeah, I don't see a Giga coming.
What is Ace thinking of? Wrong answers only.
I don't think.
I'm trying to think what I can say.
He's
He's
thinking
thinking
of his next like 12 trips for sure.
He's thinking what next crazy challenge he can come up with to make his theme park trips even more impossible.
He's thinking how he can keep his coaster count ahead of me and you.
Yes.
Well, how much, Bob? How much do you have now?
528.
Wow, got 624. Trying to get to 700.
Now I know the next challenge Ace has got. It's going on. What is it? The Mardi Gras Carnival ship.
Oh, the Carnival.
Eating all you can eat at the buffet and then riding a coaster until you puke.
That's Ken. Ken, I should have gone to your event today. You had a lot of food.
Ken, you had an all-you-can-eat buffet? Is that what you're saying?
I tell you one thing, we're missing Tom right now. Tom is in my class on that. Tom and I just tear it up.
Wow.
Anyways, he's thinking about free food.
He's
thinking about.
That's all he thinks about. He just thinks about his free food.
Yeah, but this is the wrong answers.
Yeah.
Wrong answers. Oh.
Yeah. This was all right answers.
Wow. Well, basically, we talk about erroneous. Something that's erroneous.
Oh, well, wrong answers?
Well, I went to Great Adventure on opening day with Phil, with Colin's father on July 1st, 1974. And I saw Ken there.
Ace is thinking about going back to work at the Bronx Zoo again.
Ace is thinking about never riding a coaster again.
Yeah,
there you go. There you go.
Yeah, he's thinking about tearing
I'm never going back to Disney World. I'm not going to that new Epic Universe.
All right, that's enough Ace for the stream. Wow. We're going to move on. It would be great to see what rides go in the Vortex and Goliath. Well, Goliath, we already know what's going there. They're getting a intimate straddle coaster. The Vortex plot is intriguing. This kind of brings up something I see people asking about, which is Beast 2.0. That better not happen. I don't think it will.
Hopefully,
people would be livid. More people would be angry than happy about that. By far.
Oh God!
What I think that they should put there is a mock extreme spinner, and if they don't want to go that expensive, they can get a Vekoma Shockwave or something.
The problem again with that is capacity issues. That's the only problem with putting the mock extreme spinner there.
That's true.
I think they're whatever they do, they're going to make that into like a whole like another land stuff because they have a ton of space there.
Yep.
Well, what could work good
Multi-launch,
is a
though.
mock striker. A mock striker coaster would work great because the capacity on those are insane. They run like 7 trains.
Oh, the Beast 2.0. That's what you said.
They need a
Do you think the
standout.
feast?
Listen, they need a standout Velocicoaster, Pantheon, whatever instrument. That'd be
A Blitz
great.
would be
Hey, it's
great.
Phil.
A Blitz would be perfect
Yeah,
for
there's Phil.
Kings Island.
How come he didn't get on the stream?
He prefers to watch
I don't know about that.
and leave these.
I
little
think
comments
you're
in.
keeping him away from the people. I think the people want more Phil.
Yes.
No, I don't think the
NBA.
people.
He's actually in the
People want more
background.
Let's put a vote now. Put a vote in your little stream here and see if
All
people
right,
want Phil
all
or not, so that people can speak.
All right, we'll let the people vote.
Yeah.
How about that? There you go.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, Velocicoaster or El Toro? Velocicoaster, unfortunately.
Velocicoaster.
Yep.
That's no contest.
Is that really a question?
Off topic, but what's your favorite NBA player? Mine's Steph Curry. I couldn't tell you.
Oh, I can
Not a
tell you.
sports person.
Not into
I'm a
basketball.
sports connoisseur. That would be LeBron James, easy. One of the goats.
Donovan Mitchell.
Okay, he's an excellent player. What about yours, Brian? You're also a sports connoisseur.
Yeah, but I don't really care for basketball.
What about yours, Ken? Don't you like basketball?
I don't know sports. I don't know sports.
And Colin.
Oh.
I know y'all know hockey. Yep. You like hockey, Bob?
Anyways,
Nope.
Skyrocket 2 comes.
Oh, come on, man. Gale Force.
Or Gale Force. Gale Force.
Gale Force.
Gale
Gale
Force
Force
is
is
sick.
insane. Gale
I
Force.
love the Skyrockets, but
Sick.
Gale
Gale Force is amazing. It doesn't belong at that.
You get 2 rides out of it. Literally.
Yeah.
Don't you go backwards and forwards? Like you get 2 rides out of it.
You get more than
Only
2
goes
rides.
two loops
Yeah,
around.
2.5 rides. It's sick.
When I went yesterday, I saw people testing out the water shooters on Log Flume. I did too. I caught it on video. What I find interesting is that with those water shooters, it looks like they're not retrofitting them with like touch to pay or anything. So you still need to bring coins.
At a
And no one's
cashless park.
changed. What?
It's a cashless park, though.
I know.
So how is that going to work?
I don't know. I wish they would just make them free and just put a button. You shouldn't have to pay to get people wet.
Exactly.
You're just recycling water at the
Yeah, I
end.
said the water's just getting recycled. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You think the Skyway will remain dormant into the 25 season? I think
I
so.
hope not.
There's too much going
Yes.
on right now.
It'd be great to
It
have
may
it back.
never open.
Wyatt loves your lighting, Bob.
You got the best lighting today. Yeah, you got the best
Oh,
lighting.
yeah. Yeah,
With the nice clean shirt in the background too, and the giant spotlight. There's all kinds of stuff going.
I'm in his apartment, guys. That's he's in the other room.
Great Adventure and
Really
Von
him
Roll
over
I
the light.
think have NDAs in place right now, so no word honestly for the Skyway. Well, I mean, I would imagine so. Jersey Devil always getting hated on. Yep, always so much unnecessary hate. I love
Have
that.
you
ride.
ridden it? You
Thanks, Ken.
feel every track joint.
Not
You heard me,
that
Ken?
bad this year, honestly. This year it's been running better than ever.
Yeah.
Smooth, fast.
You can't tell
As
Ken
smooth
that.
as Jersey Devil can be. Let's see. If I chose to replace it for the old Vortex Looper, I'd give it a dive or launch. I could see it. I don't know about a dive. I feel like that's not a grand enough spot. If you're going to do a dive, you want to have it in a place where everyone's going to see it and it's really going to pop. So, I don't know. I still think a multi-launch would be perfect for that spot.
If you want to put a dive at that, take out Invertigo and you put it there and
Yes.
it goes over
Yep.
the entrance.
You do the
drop.
entrance. Yeah.
I was just about to say that. Yep.
What if instead of having a swing launch on King Dakar, they kept the hydraulic launch and added a full layout after the Camelback? That will never happen. I do. That's actually a good point to bring up. What's going to happen with Ka in the next few years? Because I imagine it's getting close to its service life. We saw Dragster bite the dust already, so they're going to have to start making some decisions on Ka very soon. I know the park has been watching Top Thrill 2 very closely. It's just a matter of when they want to pull the trigger, really. I don't think they're going to go with Zamperla. That's for sure.
No, intimate.
Dragster wasn't at the end of its service life. It had something. There was a
It
reason why
wasn't
it
the
had
end
it.
of service life, but it was more so a combo of the incident plus maintenance costs. It all
Yeah.
kind of ballooned into one.
But the park was not happily, but they were paying it to keep it running before. It's
Exactly.
It's going to come down. If that hydraulic pump goes and they got to replace the heart of it again, they won't do that again. They'll look into replacing LSM.
Exactly. It will happen. I'd say within 10 years, it probably will happen.
I give it 11 years.
11, huh? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, instrument. No Zamperla.
Good evening. Welcome to the stream, Katie. What is your favorite family coaster? Verbolten is definitely one of them. Mine's probably Hagrid, honestly.
Hagrid for sure.
Yeah,
Hagrid.
Unless you consider Icebreaker a family coaster.
No, pardon me. No, Tron. Excuse me. Tron is a great family coaster.
No. Hagrid
is better than Tron.
No, Tron is good. Is better. Nah, Tron is way better.
Don't do anything.
I was bored on Hagrid.
It's not Hagrid good.
Hagrid is okay. Tron is way better.
Well, there's a secret element. We don't need no spoilers.
Oh, yeah, I don't want to spoil it.
Don't spoil it.
Yeah. I know.
You go into a building and do something.
You do something really cool.
I like Tron.
You blast out.
And you push the button for the really shitty effect.
Yes. Over Georgia could definitely use a dive for the 60th. I think they need a proper multi-launch before that. Georgia Surfer doesn't count. They need a real multi-launch coaster. What's your favorite coaster remix? What do you mean by coaster remix?
Is that like what on Jolly Rancher remix?
You mean the overlay?
The Top Thrill 2 remix is great.
Wait, what?
No, I'm being serious. Like the music, because they incorporated Ready to Go into it. Like I think that's what we're going for, like station music / thing.
I'm thinking you might mean like seasonal overlay or something. Like, you know how Magic Kingdom, they'll do like whatever to Skull Mountain or Space Mountain during like Halloween or something and Christmas.
They'll do Hyperspace Mountain, which is Star Wars theme.
Yeah.
No, they do.
And it's awesome.
Haunted Mansion Holiday and all that.
Starlet, if you're still here, please tell me what you mean, because this has me stumped.
If it's the remix, though, if it's what you're thinking, I would have to go Laugh Track Halloween.
Yes,
that I think is the best.
Pitch black
in there, and you don't know what you're doing.
Jolly Rancher remix.
Oh, station music.
Grape.
They mean station music.
I like Nitro.
Probably Nitro or Millennium
Mortal Kombat.
Force.
I like the Mortal Kombat Nitro.
Oh, Ace, do your Millennium Force song.
You got to do it now.
You have to do it now.
Bacon Chris had it done. I don't even have it.
Then I'm out of here.
Come on, Ace. You got to do it for the stream.
Yeah, I'm terrible. Could you do it, Bob? I want to hear your rendition because I'm terrible.
No, because when you do it, it comes out to it sounds like fucking like I don't even know how to explain it. It's
Let me see if I can find it.
I got it.
We got to have the live version. I don't want the track.
Yeah, we need the live version, Ace. Come on.
I've heard it.
And don't give the lip singing. Don't play it and have him lip it. We don't want that.
I can't.
You used to do it all the time. Why can't you do it now?
It's just terrible.
It's just terrible.
Here we go. I got it.
Don't worry.
Higher intelligence.
There you go. Come on, Ace. That should inspire you.
Beyond words. Beyond
I found it.
Beyond.
He's holding back.
That, for those of you who don't understand what this is from 3 years ago.
Oh my God.
Coaster Mania 2021. It was a while ago, but anyways, they can't give Green Lantern floorless trains because it has a similar layout to Rougarou. Well, no, that would mean they can. What the issue is the fact that Medusa is already in the park and has floorless trains.
But if you give Hulk trains where it's just a normal sit down, it's different.
True. We'll explain the reason.
You hear, guys?
Maybe a copyright claim.
You hear it?
Yes, I hear it.
Yes,
Yeah, but we want you to sing it.
We wanted you to do
You
it.
have to sing it. You're gonna get me a copyright claim by playing it.
Yeah.
Oh,
There goes his
Oh, you
paycheck.
can't. Oh, okay. You can't. Oh, you can't. You can't put it. Okay.
Yeah, you got to actually sing it. That's the only way.
Oh yeah, I'm terrible at it. Bacon Chris got it down pat. Bacon Chris had a great rendition of it.
All right. Anyways, we'll say that I also picked up my final credit at Knoebels Flying Turns and had an incredible time. Everyone else's thoughts on the park. All right, Tom. So I love Knoebels, but every time I've gone, it's kind of been a crapshoot because it's always been super crowded. So I haven't been able to properly enjoy the park, honestly. But it's very unique. There's nothing else like it, and I appreciate it for that.
Knoebels is awesome. Flying Turns is so fun. Twister,
Yeah.
I enjoy better than Phoenix. Just the whole it's just a chill park. The rides are fun. Even the old skyway
That
that
thing
goes
goes
up the mountain.
way up there.
Yes.
Yeah, the old ski lift or whatever it is that goes up there. That's awesome. Just to see and you look back at the park, it's
The
it's
Flyers.
such a fun park.
The Flyers.
So
I
they
wish
have
I got
that
on
open-
Flyers.
Oh, so they have
And
that
the
open
food. The
pretty much
food is
whenever.
out of this world there.
So that Skyway is
We
always
got-
open pretty much.
Ace, I got to jump in for a second. At 10:09, the line will be going in the chat for no more questions. So you got about a minute and a half to throw whatever you have in last, because once that line is there, we are not going past it. So get your stuff
Just
in now.
bum rush it. Right. Any
Bum rush.
question you got.
Anything. Quick.
Where did you ride on Flying Turns, Brian?
What?
Were you in the
What
front or
year?
back
I don't
of Flying
remember.
Turns? Oh, okay.
15. I don't know. It was like years ago. I honestly
good.
couldn't. I'd have to look it up when I went last.
It was good.
It was a lot of fun.
I mean,
I
I
enjoyed
still like Mike Fennell's story about going over there to ride it that he told us. You remember that?
Oh,
Colin?
yeah. I remember.
That was from the Donny Park event, right? Where he kept
Yep.
saying,
Yeah,
"Dick
yeah.
tells you to ride, you ride."
He's like, I love Dick.
Of course, about Dick Knoebel, the wonderful
Yes,
owner of Knoebels.
that's totally what we're talking about.
Yes, exactly.
That was so
Remember,
ridiculous,
guys, the
though.
stream is PG-13, not PG. Just remember that. Anyways, Colin, if you go to Europe, I recommend you use the Skyrush airline. I heard it is very safe. I've heard the same. I'll definitely be flying first class when I go. Also, Ace is thinking about ass out your seat airtime. Yes, he loves that. What happened to the canceled B&M wing coaster that was supposed to be added to GAV in 2016? Well, it was never announced, so I wouldn't call it canceled. It was more so just a thrown away idea. But as far as I know, it was supposed to happen. There was supposed to be a wing coaster very similar to X-Flight at Great Adventure, and we wound up with Joker. So,
Oh
It
wow.
became X-Flight. It went there instead.
yeah, pretty much. I do kind of wish we
Somewhat
got that.
great.
Yeah, that would have
Yeah.
been great. Over the leg.
I still think I wish they never put Joker where they put it, because they should have put Jersey Devil right there in that plot. That would have fit perfectly and looked phenomenal. But, oh well.
I always thought Jersey Devil should be a wooden coaster too. So
Yes, yeah. Or Giga. Something with more presence. Which parks do you think the new Six Flags will give the most attention to? Let me say 5 Legacy, 6. All right, well, I'll just do 5 total. Cedar Point, Kings Island, Wonderland, Great Adventure,
Magic Mountain.
Magic Mountain. Yeah, that would be the 5. And then I'm sure Kings Dominion, Carowinds, Great America, Fiesta, Mexico, maybe over Texas.
So you forgot Great America. Did you say Great America?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see Great America getting more love.
Is 2025 the year Nitro finally gets repainted? I hope so. Really hope so. We've been waiting for a while.
Wow. 24 years. Wow.
Are questions getting skipped about the horrible 50th anniversary? No, I'm just skipping questions that are redundant if I've already covered it. If you think the 50th was horrible, then that's your opinion. I mean, I'm not going to agree because I obviously don't agree. But if that's how you feel, then that's how you feel. I can't really change that.
But even if you say it was horrible, it wasn't the park's fault. The park and the people that
The
were
park did
planning
what
it
they
are
could.
very passionate. But when it comes down to budget, if they're like, well, we're going to give you this amount of money and you can't do anything with that, or again, dealing with a corporate system, you have to get approvals for everything. If they're like, hey, we want to do X, Y, and Z, and they're like, yeah, no, we're not paying for that. Well, you drop the ball. And again, with the merger, when you lock up a budget, you can't buy anything. So yeah, they might have dropped the ball. There was definitely more planned for this 50. It's supposed to be more grand. But you know what money they had and what the team was able to do, they did a fantastic job. It's just
beautiful. Dream Street is amazing.
Yeah, there was more and more grand stuff planned, but they just couldn't do it. Again, when Celine gets $11 million budget, and that's for that bonus. Who takes that big of a? What did he really do? He didn't. He just.
We're gonna move on.
I'm just saying. Point. That's who you point the finger at. That's all I'm saying, people.
Point it at the merger. Pointed at the merger, but yeah, I agree. I mean, the 50th, they did what they could. And what they did was great with what they had to work with, for sure. Moving on. What should they do with the parachute at Great Adventures? There's a lot of things they could do with it.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think they're ever going to get rid of that tower. That's going to stay, in my opinion. I think something really cool would be to do like a massive restaurant based around it. But before I continue, I have a surprise for you all. Welcome, Tom.
Hello.
Oh,
I just wanted to jump in with the biggest poop eating grin. I heard you say you're a PG-13 stream, so hi everyone.
Yeah. Hello, Tom.
Tom came running. He's like PG-13. I'm in.
Yes, I got
Wow.
you. We are allowed one use of the F-bomb. By the way,
we already did that. Bob,
okay.
Bob,
Well, then
that-
we're good.
Yeah, Bob already checked that box.
I think it was more than that, but whatever.
Okay. Well, I must have missed that part.
Well, Tom, now that you're here, what do you think they should do with the parachute at Great Adventure?
Be nice if they could put it as an observation tower. If not, I kind of like the light thing that they had going on for like the first few years of Holiday in the Park before they opened the ride for it. So maybe do like a light strand, make it look like, give it that tree look, but then make the lights adjustable so that way they can be themed. It kind of gives like, I don't know, in the summer you do like beachy colors. Does that make sense to you? I don't know. I think
I can see that.
Keep the structure, use it for something, even if it's not ride related.
I think they could definitely, when they redo the boardwalk like Brian was talking about, incorporate that into its new theme. I don't know if you have any ideas for that, Brian, but feel free.
No, but I can't believe you're leaking information that it might become a restaurant, though. I thought that was under wraps.
I didn't know that was something that was going to happen.
That was
I think
like
it'd be a good
they're going to attach elevators to it, and that's how you get up there, and
that'd be awesome. But we'll see. Moving on. New England also has room where the Super Loop was, and behind it, all the way up to where Whistle Stop Park is. That is true. I do think it'd be cool to see a big coaster, not necessarily replace Flashback, but kind of go right by the front entrance, because they have a little bit of room there. And of course, like you said, where the Super Loop was. And I think they can make a lot out of that little space and kind of go over the entrance and do something like that. That would be awesome. Over under, Fright Fest will see 40,000 people this year at some point. If you're talking daily, 100% it will hit 40,000.
Yep.
Like I said, Wonderland averages 40,000 a day, and that's during just the summer season on a weekday. So
if you ever want to get perspective, like walk all the way down to like where Leviathan's drop is, because I did that to take pictures, and you realize just how big the parking lot is and how massive it wraps all the way around. It's insane.
It's huge. And if that park gets that, and Great Adventure is where it is, and Fright Fest is crazy popular, as we all know, I think we'll see 60,000 people days for sure. They might even close the capacity. Fright Fest Extreme this year is no joke with how all out they're going. We have Stranger Things, Army of the Dead, Conjuring, Saw, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Trick or Treat, plus the returning mazes. I mean, that is massively marketable, and I think they're going to use that marketing power as much as they can. At least I hope they do, because they have a lot they can work with there.
Expect more days of the day I went to your Halloween pumpkin patch. It's going to be so crazy. You can't even get in. It was over 60,000 people. It's going to be a lot more days like that.
Yeah, but let's make sure they get all this done, because it's a lot that's supposed to get done.
They'll get it done. They're going to get it done.
Yeah, but they just started. In years past, they start back in June setting these houses up and everything. And now you're building stuff from the ground up?
Well, something else to keep in mind is that they only have technically 3 mazes that are being done in-house by Six Flags. I imagine we'll see the Mirror Maze return in some capacity. They're not just going to let that sit there. We have Asylum, which they haven't said where it's going yet. but I can assure you they are working on it. And
Oh, I know.
there is
I
Big
might
Top
know where it
Hero,
is, but I
which is,
know.
of course, back in the red tent. That they can continue working on that. They have an IP going where the right stuff was. That's going to be one big maze. They're obviously working in there because they can. They also, of course, have the new building going up where Saw was last year. They have the one going over by Justice League. They have one that's pretty much being enclosed inside Fiesta Games and where Empanada Guy was. That's all going to be a maze right there. So they have a lot of indoor spaces. And the ones that they're building now, they're kind of using the other crews that they have to get the ones that are already done fully decorated inside. That way, those are done. And once the buildings are done for the other ones, they can go right in, get decorating. And it's an outside company doing the IP mazes. So I imagine like Stranger Things, for instance, right? Netflix is in charge of that. They probably have a different crew in charge of their Stranger Things maze than, say, Warner Brother does for Conjuring or Lionsgate does for Saw. They probably all have their own individual crews, if I had to guess. So we also have Conjuring
it's
as
just
well,
one
where
company
they're working inside that bubble.
All the IPs, and they have a month now to hustle and get everything done.
I agree. It's a
I don't know.
very short
I
time.
just would keep your.
Universal started all theirs months ago.
That's the whole thing. All the big expecting. And if you're expecting universal quality,
It's
get
not
that
gonna be
right out of your head right now. I don't know. I'm
You're
just.
going to be extremely disappointed.
That's what I'm saying. Just keep your idea in check. To like, hey, this stuff should have been started months ago.
Look at it this way. We experienced Conjuring and Saw last year. We know what those were like. We know that Conjuring was excellent, and we know that Saw wasn't as excellent. So they're not all going to be excellent, and they're not going to be all not excellent. They're probably going to be somewhere in the middle.
They also started those earlier than this, so
They have to be.
hey, we'll
long.
see. We'll just see what happens. But I'm just everyone keep it in check. That's all I'm trying to say.
Remember, Brian is a bit of a pessimist, so don't listen to him too closely.
I'm not. I'm just realistic.
Be realistic, but don't be a pessimist. That's what I'm trying to get at. I think it'll be
The glass is half full, but I also
Oh,
step
boy.
my Sanders to a certain way that I'm not completely
I'm
disappointed.
still waiting to see what they're going to charge for this.
Well, they already have the pricing out. And supposedly, Diamond Elite VIP members do still get free access to the mazes. Supposedly. It's not like 100% yet. That's from, I guess, resort services. So we'll see. But otherwise, I believe it's $40 for a maze pass for one day. I want to say 60 or 70 for express for one day. And then it kind of goes from there. Anyways, what is the next ride that will probably be removed from Great Adventure next?
It's a tough call.
Didn't we do this?
We talked about coaster.
Do we want to
rough.
state the inevitable and say Skyway?
No,
No, it's not going to be Skyway.
Oh,
that's
it's
not going to
not.
be Skyway time.
I vaguely, while I was full disclosure, putting my what was I doing? I think I was putting my dinner in the oven, but I thought I heard you guys talking Skyway or something.
We did. It'll definitely get refurbed. They won't get rid of it.
I sure
refurbished
hope
it.
so. I do not want to be right on my prediction that it's next to go, but
Yeah, it's
hope
gonna
that
be
ride gets
refurbed.
blown.
It'll be Topspin or
Yeah,
Twister.
It
Oh,
probably will be Twister, unfortunately.
Remember
Just
when
the
everyone thought
maintenance
that was
on that.
going?
Yeah, we thought it was going to go last year, and then that didn't happen, thankfully.
That's why I wrote it like 15 times, which is like 15 more times than I typically would in a season. But
It's a great
Honestly,
ride,
it's
too.
it is really
It's also
good.
a good method for the park just to put these rumors. Oh, this ride's going, and then everyone goes and rides it.
Inflate the
Oh,
throughput.
yeah.
It's true. Shockwave or Super Duper Looper? Shockwave, and it is not close.
Yep.
What do you guys think they may do with that arena at Great Adventure? Get rid of it?
Demo.
Couple it. Part of it's
Um,
already been.
So we talked about Flash getting delayed till 25 last year. I don't think it will impact the coaster that might
No.
come afterwards. I think that'll still be on track.
Of course, the coaster will be on track.
Of course. Front or back row on Nitro? Back row by far.
Back row.
Back row.
Back row. Yep. Right seat.
Yes. Enjoyed hearing y'all's thoughts on everything. Hope have a good night. Thank you for joining
night.
us, Kaylee. Other than theme parks, what other type of activities do you guys enjoy going to? Example, Broadway shows, tourist attractions. I'm going to start with Ace because I'm really curious what Ace's answer is to this.
Oh, that's a good one.
Ace
What do I
doesn't
do?
know that there's
Oh.
stuff to do outside of amusement
Oh
parks.
no! One of these days we definitely got to do this. You, Brian, Ken, Bob, of course, Tom. Got to go to have a bowling match. I'll show you my nice
Bowling?
lefty hook shot. Yeah, I was on the bowling team in high school. You know, so we got to go to
Really?
we got to go there definitely. And you know what's cool too? Laser tag. You know, paintball. I want to do some paintball one day.
Yes, paintball actually would be fun.
We got to do that one day. I'm down for that.
Paintball would be epic.
Anything
It's
other
too,
than coasters, yeah.
That'd be good for
Let's
the
do
off
that.
season.
it's too bad
Ken,
that they
you gotta join us.
covered
Come on, Ken.
Paintball Place for Great Adventure.
Like paintball, Ken?
Yeah, that's true.
There's one not far. There's one right around the corner.
Oh, we
Yeah,
can
there's
do
one
that
not
one
far
day.
from me either.
So, guys, I got your word on. We're gonna do that. Some
All right,
paintball.
Ken, what are your interests outside of? Well, I know what your big one is, so you want to share that if you like.
You mean what I did while you were at Kings Island?
Yes, while I was at
I like to go
Kingdom.
for hikes. I like to go for hikes. And I also do amateur rockets.
There you go. Tom, we know your big one.
Well, yes, it's hockey games, followed close second by baseball, which I've not gone to a baseball game this season, which is very depressing. But outside of that, music as well. I'm actually coming to you live from my new home office because ya boy got an apartment. I live on my own. So, fellow coaster enthusiasts, you can move out of your parents' house. It's possible.
Congratulations.
You can move out of your parents' house. So,
The dream is alive.
the dream, keeping
You
it
can
alive.
get
We
out
are-
of the basement,
We are
guys.
Yes.
destroying stereotypes here tonight.
Yep.
Phil says I'm good at creating debt. That's good too. Check that one. I'm gonna out the group chat here, but that is a fun hobby of mine as well. But no, yeah, definitely music is a big one. My guitars are back here. I'm totally not cleaning up and like organizing stuff as we are doing the stream too. So yeah, those are my activities.
You forgot alcohol, Tom.
Well, occasionally. PG-13.
What about you, Bob? What do you do in your free time?
Well, as you know, I coach sports. I like obviously watching sports and concerts and things. I do a lot of trivia stuff. Pretty much it. I like a lot of anything with technology. I like to.
Brian?
Well, the free time that I have, because being a parent, a father, not a lot of free time. But again, hockey games, big Devils fan. Eagles games as well. I'm a car mechanic, so always playing with cars. Music, some concerts, certain metal bands I'll go to. Enjoy drinking. It's always a good time.
I'm sure.
So, yeah.
I mean, mine's pretty much a combination of what everyone's already said. Tom got me into the Devils games. I love just checking out what there is in the world other than amusement parks because there's a lot to see. All that fun stuff.
Oh,
Actually, if people want on adventures with animals, because I do enjoy animals, in Delaware, Frankfurt, Coastal Wild, you can swim with
Weren't you
otters.
swimming with an otter or something?
2 otters. That was last weekend. I
Swimming
did.
with an otter. Ooh.
Wait. Where is this?
It's in Frankfurt, Delaware. It's by like Bethany Beach.
Abby, come here. This is Wyatt's girlfriend loves otters, and we've been talking about her doing this for a while.
I have the video on my Instagram if you want to go watch. They're awesome. Otters are amazing.
Okay,
They're a little cheeky.
Wait, I'm plugging my headphones so I can hold on. Let me turn this up. So Brian, our friend Brian here, last weekend went to Delaware and he swam with otters. And apparently you can do that in Delaware.
You can. It's quite fun. You get 45 minutes in a pool and you just mayhem.
Was it
It's by
expensive?
Bethany Beach?
No, they're not on leash. They're swimming around, jumping on you.
No, but
At one
this is
point,
by
I had
Bethany
a swim
Beach?
shirt on. It's coming
Brian,
up
how
my
much
shirt.
did it cost?
Was it expensive?
It was under 300, but it was definitely over 200. But you also they have a whole tour. So with the whole tour, you got to see the animals, you got to pet kangaroos, you got to feed a sloth, you got to pet capybunde, and then you got to swim with the otters. Like there's other stuff you did too.
What's the name of this place?
Coastal Wild in Frankfurt, Delaware. It's like an hour from Rehoboth Beach, Bethany Beach. Like that's the close part.
That's where mom lives.
Yeah.
Give me something to do while I'm down there.
So, hey,
All
it
right,
was
all
awesome.
right, thanks. We're almost done.
Well, thanks for the bit of info there, Brian.
Brian, you ever been to the Bronx Zoo?
I have not. I've been to the Philly Zoo. I've been to
You got to come visit.
Turtleback. I've been to some of the other stuff.
Yeah, you got to come visit one day. That's my neighbor, and plus you have Little Italy there. It's world renowned. It's really beautiful. It's exquisite. It's a great zoo.
I'll
right,
add
we're
that
gonna
to the
move
list
on.
of things to do.
We're gonna move on.
People
Colin,
want
are
to
you
know.
still doing the meetup at Great Adventure? I do intend on doing it. See, my plan was to wait until Flash opened, and things happened. My biggest thing is that I don't want to do the meetup on a day where I'm getting content because I want to be able to dedicate my time to hanging out with the fans and everything. So, unfortunately, every single visit has been very heavily focused on content because there's a lot to watch. So
How
once
convenient.
things slow down, I definitely, believe me, I didn't forget about it. I still intend on doing the meetup. It'll probably be closer to the end of the year because as I get into school, of course, my visits are going to be less frequent, which means I have to make the most of the visits as much as I possibly
Plus,
can.
they have to build the throne.
Yeah. No, we're not going to do that. But I'm
Throne
going
is
to say
for-
late.
We are going to
holiday
auction off rides with you, though. That's going to happen. All proceeds will go to Make-A-Wish. They got the Make-A-Wish Palace right there in Manalapan or Marlboro. So
Yeah, there you go.
We'll make it
But,
go to good cost.
I'm going to say I'm going to say probably the end of Holiday in the Park around there, closer to like Christmas time. That's probably going to be my best guess, just because, like I said, I was fully intending on doing it in the summer. The summer kind of went a little differently than I anticipated, so it will still happen. Believe me, I
A
will make sure.
Christmas gift from Hollywood Studios.
Yes, for any holiday you celebrate, there will be a gift at the end.
A
of the year.
non-denominational holiday gift from
There you go.
Hollywood Studios.
How does everyone feel about Boulder Dash? Is it one of your favorites? Not really, but I do like it.
I've only been there once, and I found it to be super rough, but that was like 6 years ago.
It is very rough.
Not one of my
It
favorites, but
depends
very
on
rough.
the year. It depends on the year and what they retract.
Wow.
So
I got a
Although-
Bob.
I heard night rides on it are fantastic because it feels like
Yeah.
out of control, and I didn't get any of those. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So
I
it
got
sounds
two
like
day
you
rides
wouldn't-
on it, and it's all right.
It sounds like
It's
you went
good.
in
It's rough.
2008. Go ahead.
Moving on, we have two more questions. There's one that is below the line, but I have to mention it because it's too
You gotta
good.
make this one last.
Front row or back row on Green Lantern and Superman? Green Lantern, I'll take either or. I tend to prefer back row just because you get that extra airtime off the mid-course. And Superman, I usually go for back row because it's a shorter line than front row, but it's also a little more intense.
Green Lantern is front row. It's nice and smooth. Superman,
Yeah.
hands down, is back row. Don't even bother walking any forward. That pretzel loop on Superman back row is insane. Even when I worked there and had the option of every row to test drive, because you had a test drive every morning, chose the back row.
Others, what are your opinions?
I believe you're next, Bob.
I hate Green Lantern, so we're not even going to talk about that. We're talking about Superman the Flying Coaster, or Superman.
Ultimate Flight.
I don't like. I think I really have a preference on those.
Well,
very
then what
much.
you would do for Tatsu or Manta?
Again, I don't feel like it feels different in the front or back of those. I never really. I mean, if I'm picking, I'm going to ride the back always, almost on anything. But I've ridden the front and back on most of those, and I don't really feel much of a difference too much as compared to any other models where you obviously feel the difference.
I think the biggest difference is that going through the pretzel loops, you'll feel the pull more in the back and the push more in the front.
Okay.
That's really all it comes down to. The pull is usually more intense.
Yeah.
Tom?
On my God's honest answer, if I'm riding either of these rides, is wherever the wait is the shortest. But in a perfect world where I have a choice, Superman back row and Green Lantern, I kind of always wind up in the front, so I'll take the front.
Yeah.
Ken?
Right.
Superman's front, Green Lantern. I don't really want to ride it.
Wait, Ken just
Yeah.
picked favorites.
Yeah, Superman front, Green Lantern front. And I was going to say something about Boulder Dash, Bob. I
Yeah,
don't know
go
how
for it.
it was, but you actually went in 18. You said 5 years ago. I went in 19 for the first time ever, and I got on the 6 straight time.
I take that back. I went in 2016
Wow.
because that was when Great Adventure was still like dicks about cameras. And what happened was I was at New England and they were completely okay with it. And I went to Great Adventure like 2 days later and they were trying to not let me in. And I just like yelled at them and I was like, look, I was just at New England and they didn't give me any problems and they let me take it in then.
Wow.
If you guys have seen Bob get angry before, it's
Oh,
quite
boy.
the sight.
It's a delight,
Wow.
But most of the time, it's at Colin. So
Yeah, it has been,
which makes it even more of a delight.
but that's been a while.
But like when we're together and we're getting mad at the same things, I don't have to get mad because Colin like erupts. So I just like sit there and laugh at him getting pissed more than
Oh
me
my
actually getting
God.
pissed myself.
The
Very true.
sandstorm.
So now for this final question, unless a super chat pops up, for the final question,
On super chat.
Open your wallets, kids.
Ace, what is your coaster count again?
I thought wasn't Guinness trying to confirm his?
Ace,
You forgot?
what's the number?
624.
624.
Write
Yeah.
this down. Write this
Does
down.
anyone believe Ace's coaster count is accurate?
Can I see ride photos of all of those, please?
Ace, I
So
feel like every
funny.
time you go on a trip, it like doubles.
Listen, I don't play around. You know,
We went to
Myrtle
24
Beach.
parks in one drive. You know,
Listen, Myrtle Beach, King
Oh, yeah,
Family
but yeah.
Kingdom, and you know, Canada's Wonderland. There's a whole bunch of credits. Mountain coasters. There's quite a bit.
you go to Pigeon Forge. All those There's the man, the myth, the legend, Phil.
Oh, look at him! Look at this guy.
I do not
He-
believe.
oh,
that
he's
could-
alive. He comes out of nowhere.
I knew he was
Wait.
back there the whole time.
Did we have a vote? Did the people choose Phil?
The people
Did you have
voted
that?
yes, so here he is.
How many? What was the total? Because I can't see it.
It was 20 votes, 89% yes.
Look, see, I told
So
you they
far,
won, Phil. You don't
no,
listen
no.
to me.
Yep.
Gotta get Phil back on there.
So the next stream will just be me and Phil.
Pretty cool stream.
That'd be
All
the
right,
best
anyways,
stream. I
there's
bet you
your
you'd sell out.
cameo allotment.
So wait, I want to see who believes his coaster count.
Yeah, who does believe the coaster count? I don't think anyone wants to say yes or no.
I'm going to say
Oh, listen.
no.
I think he's
Listen.
off. I don't.
Listen,
I think he
I
might be
I guarantee you. Once
List
Phil gets to,
on your
listen,
Instagram account.
once he gets to 600, he ain't gonna try to say any. I bet you won't be able to say anything when he gets to 600.
Yeah, but Phil has ride photos of all of them, so I'm just saying he's got proof.
Yeah, proof.
He's got fun pics. He's had it for years. He's got it all.
He's been stockpiling
Documented.
receipts.
I don't know how you could go from 490 to 670 or
I
whatever.
have
the
it
hell
right
you
on.
want.
I'll
24,
show
we're
you one
writing
day.
it down now.
Yeah, I'll show. No, I have it. I have it right here on my phone. I'll show it to you.
Tom, let's bring it up to Toronto. I think we need to call Toronto on this one to give a
Situation
ruling.
room.
And you can go ahead and then eat up all the photos. Yeah, I'm on all the photos.
All right, well, with that, we are going to get ready to finish out the stream for the night here. The big 20K stream.
I
Go ahead,
hate
Tom.
to interrupt you. I did not get to divulge my excellent little trip today.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes,
who
let's
does?
hear it.
So TLDR on my Knoebels trip today. I live semi-close, not the 3.5 hours, whatever it is now, from Knoebels or from Great Adventure to get to Knoebels. So I'm like, what the hell? I'll go visit. So I finally picked up Flying Turns. It was the last credit I needed there from the last time we were all there, Colin and at the end of Ohio. So the park was great. I got a shout out. I think it's like the Watermill Sundae. Oh, literally, you were talking about the food. $8 got you a sundae with 3 massive scoops of ice cream, chocolate rocks, and all this other like stuff on it. And of course, I needed pierogies for breakfast. So that was pretty cool. Haunted Mansion looked great. There was tons of new stuff going into the dungeon room, so that was pretty cool. Like, there's actually like pretty legit good effects in there. And what else? The crowds weren't too bad. I think the longest wait was Flying Turns for me. I waited like 25 minutes, I think, if that. So it was a nice day. I wound up doing Phoenix twice, Twister twice. I caught 7 rings on the carousel, so that was an improvement from last time, if I remember correctly. So the goal is 10. Maybe I'll go back next weekend, but we'll see. So yeah, it was a pretty good day.
Well, glad to hear you had a great time. With that, guys, that is going to do it for the big 20K stream. I want to thank all 5 of you for coming in and joining me in the stream. I want to thank everyone for watching, for allowing this to happen. Never would have hit 20K if it wasn't for all of you viewers, and I really do appreciate all of it. This is also the 10-year anniversary of Hollywood Studios. officially it is December 4th. That is the 10-year anniversary. So I will definitely be doing something to celebrate that once we get there.
That'd be a good meetup
Stay
day.
tuned, of course.
That would
What?
be a good meetup day.
A good
Are they
meetup day.
open? Are they
That
open
would be a
today?
good meetup day,
I
actually.
don't know.
Or do
Quick
like a
calendar.
weekend
I think
right
we're
after
going
they are
bowling.
open.
Hey, if it's a weekend, that might happen. But
December
Oh, it's a
4th is a
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
So the
Oh.
7th or 8th.
Yo, we got
That could
Borat
be
in
it.
the chat right now.
well, with
Everyone
that, guys,
pencil it in. That could be the unofficial Hollywood meetup.
it could be.
Do
Be
December
prepared.
7th, so that way it can be a day that lived in infamy twice.
Brian,
Fell asleep.
feel free to do your last final plugs.
Brian Coaster Patrick guy. I'm on Instagram. I have a video of swimming with otters, so if you want to see that and how cheeky they are, as you saw, my
How
daughter
cheeky
popped
they
in
are.
earlier because that's mostly what I do is the kid parks. And being a 3-year-old, she's up to 17 with her coaster count.
Wow.
So she's making her way. She's getting close to ace. She's getting real
It threw
close
me
to
off
ace's
because I
number.
remember you talking about like having like a newborn, and then I realized you talked about it when we first met, which was like at like Coaster Madness, and I was like, oh my god, that's like 3 years ago now. I was like,
Yeah, no, she's 3 and loves she can't wait for Oscars. It's literally last time we went, it was just brushing through her hair. So I figure next time she'll be on Oscars Wacky Taxi.
Have her wear like high platforms or something.
There you go.
Yeah, but then if like my wife takes her and she doesn't do that, then it's gonna be a problem, and I don't want
Right.
that. But yeah, I'm on Instagram. Also, really recommend Ryan the Ride Mechanic. He's got an awesome channel.
He's very good.
Yes.
Follow him.
Bob,
yeah, again, I'm BK Photo Page on all the socials, but like I said, I plugged Ian's channel earlier. Ian's a better photographer than I am, so I'll put his link in the chat. Go follow him if you're on Instagram. And yeah, he kicks my ass when it comes to photography. Oh, it's right there. There you go.
Yeah, you can
Tom?
see me on.
Oh, they get rid of it.
all right, hang on, Ace. Tom?
All right, y'all can follow me at Tom's Tracks 99 on Instagram. Remember, coaster enthusiasts, with the right job offer and the right conditions, you too can leave your parents' basement. It's possible. Hopefully, next time the place will be set up a little better for the next stream. I'd also like to thank Elio's Pizza for sponsoring today's episode.
Whoa, don't knock on Elio's. That's
it's
some
a great
fantastic
dinner.
pizza right there.
I hope the fine people at Elio's will be watching here tonight because it's a great dinner for when you're in a pinch, when you get home from Knoebels and want to put some pressure on yourself to join the live stream. So be sure to check them out at Elios.com.
This is actually how he's now sponsored by Elio's. That's how he got out of his, he got his own apartment.
Exactly.
Elio's
Use
money
code
right there.
TomTrack for 20% off your next order at Elios.com.
Yeah, is this like Brondo the Thirst Mutilator, Tom? Like, what's going on?
I don't know.
So the next
you
step
really
is
like
touching a
Elio's?
boob, right?
Elio's isn't really tomato sauce.
I put Hank's cilantro hot sauce on top. It's a pretty good combo, and this is the Supreme Pizza.
So now you're cooking too? Wow.
Yes. I always cooked anyway. So
Ken?
I'm Ken. If you see me at the park, please come say
Just
hello.
Ken.
Just Ken.
Very simple. Just Ken.
He has no
No social
favorites.
media.
And Ace?
Yeah, Ace Car on Facebook. You can find me there.
And Instagram, but he refuses to use it for some reason.
But if you see him at the park, challenge him to his ride count.
Yes. See if he says the same number when you see him in the park.
Yeah, I have my spreadsheet and all my good stuff.
Well, guys, with all that being said, that is going to do it for tonight's stream. Like I said earlier, I hinted at it. Stay tuned for a surprise little trip popping up in the middle of this week. Might be surprising. You never know. There's be exciting content from there, from all of Canada. That's slowly going to be rolling out. We're going to have a great adventure vlog out tomorrow morning, so stay tuned for that. If you guys enjoy the stream, be sure to like
America.
and
They're
subscribe.
announcing this week.
Pick Hollywood Studios, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye, guys.